We're just gonna let it go.
Sounds good.
We're gonna let it
I'd offer to
ride.
help, but it would just make things more complicated and take longer.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about chat box.
I think I'm gonna have to set up Streamlabs for YouTube. Is essentially what I'm gonna have to do. Essentially what I'm gonna have to do. Okay, we got squiggles, we got lines, we got stuff going on. Hopefully people can hear me. Oop, don't do that, don't do that, don't break. Don't break, I just fixed you. Okay. The problem I'm having is that my microphone is either in my way or that's mostly it. It's either in my way in one way or in my way in another. So yep. Quantum, welcome in. I made a YouTube short yesterday about cat goblins.
I saw, and 100% agree. My stance is basically that all cats are goblins, but not all goblins have to be cats.
That's fair. You got monkey goblins, you got Grindylow. There are definitely options.
Mogwai are basically goblins.
Yeah.
I mean, I know they're gremlins, but they're goblins.
Yeah, but
And I mean, you pointed out in the video, but I've never seen a Sphinx cat or any breed of hairless cat that did not look like a goblin.
yeah.
It just is one.
They don't have weird goblin feet. That might be the only thing. Maybe goblins are just like long-toed cats.
Maybe.
Yeah, Oliver, that's a tough one.
Cats were built like borzois, they would 1000% be goblins.
Yep. I think the naked ears are the other part. Man. We got a handful of suggestions today, so hopefully we can get through some of them.
Yeah.
I guess having too few is better than having too many because we can actually spend some time on them,
Yeah.
which is nice.
Well, I'm gonna spend time on whatever I roll regardless.
Sure. What did you do? Like 2 on Wednesday?
Yep.
Yep.
I also futzed around for quite a long time trying to figure out what I wanted to do for my warm-up and ended up getting nothing basically, so
That'll happen. That will happen.
Wednesday was a yeah. Hey Brian. Wednesday was a rough drawing day for me.
Am I in the wrong chat? I am in the wrong chat. There we go. Welcome in, Bri. Why not both is? Why not both is? I mean, getting work done is good. Don't neglect your adulting.
Yeah.
Because of
Because
YouTube.
if you neglect your adulting, you end up not being able to do anything else. Because like it or not, we all gotta eat. We all gotta live somewhere.
Life needs things to exist.
Yeah. And if you don't pay your internet bill, then you don't get to hang out on the internet.
That's true too. Take 800 milligrams of caffeine and enter the focus zone. That's what I usually do.
Oh.
That much caffeine would kill me. 100%.
Yep. That's not the focus zone. That's the blackout zone for me.
Yeah. 60 milligrams of caffeine is enough to like give me a heart attack. 800 I think is like the FDA's daily dose, but then it also has the thing on there that's like, hey, if you're sensitive to caffeine or pregnant and stuff, don't fucking drink this. So gotta be careful. I was watching a Dr. Mike episode, and he was talking to like this. He wasn't talking to. He was watching memes, but the news station was talking to a 104-year-old lady who's like, I drink 3 Dr. Peppers a day, and he was talking about 1, survivor bias, and 2, like anecdotal evidence.
Yeah.
Like, just because this 100-year-old drinks 3 Dr. Peppers a day does not mean drinking 3 Dr. Peppers will keep you alive. So, gotta remember that. Not everybody's the same. It's okay.
Yep. I remember growing up. There was a relatively local lady, and she was like 101, and she got interviewed by the local news, and she's like, my secret is every day I drink vinegar and honey.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what the? I figured that her general health and ability to still be moving around and active at 101 was probably more to do with the fact that she lifted weights regularly.
Gotcha. So a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi has approximately 74 milligrams.
That's almost the 100% of the daily suggested limit.
I think the daily limit is 400. Yeah, 400 milligrams. 400? So it's about 4 or 5 cups of coffee. So 10 cups of coffee, or you're drinking 3 of those, so you're drinking half. You're drinking half of the caffeine you're supposed to have in a day. Well, I mean, like, I shouldn't say it that way because that makes it sound like you can like you're supposed to drink caffeine every day.
Yeah,
that's a limit. It's a limit, not a benchmark.
Yeah, caffeine is not nutrition built for humans. It is a insecticide built by plants.
I just realized.
To defend themselves.
So I've got like a V8 energy drink here, and this is like my once a week I get a treat.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked on the back, and it's like it's got 80 milligrams of caffeine, and like if I drink all of this too fast, it will make me freak out. So I'm gonna drink this over the next like 4 hours, mixed with water. But this can is the same caffeine as like a 2-liter of Coke.
Oof.
So that's way more than I thought it was, which is weird because if I drink a can of Coke, I get the same amount of like. So I don't drink that anymore either. So who knows?
I feel really fortunate, given all of my current health problems. I feel really fortunate that I've never, like, really loved any soda.
Yeah, that's good. When I was younger, I did not drink soda. I did not like it. I would drink like Squirt and Sprite sometimes, and I just didn't like it. I hated it, and I didn't drink it. And then when I started like working at restaurants, that was just all you had to drink. You had water, and then you had like access to the soda fountain, and so it was just like caffeine. And then the last place I worked, which is probably the worst, had Red Bull on tap.
Oh no! Oh no!
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't great. I think I have a high constitution, maybe a 3 dwarf in a trench coat. I don't know. It could be. You could have 2 dwarves inside of you. Always check for pocket dwarves. I was curious, so I looked it up. A lethal dose of caffeine is roughly 10 grams. Yeah, 10 grams is 10,000 milligrams.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So how many? Let me see how many Red Bulls that is. because it's high. It's
That's
high.
a lot.
It's 100 milligrams in a Red Bull, so that means you'd have to drink 100 Red Bulls. That seems wildly low, or wildly high.
Yeah. Because it's not even just that you would have to drink 100 Red Bulls. You'd have to drink 100 Red Bulls in rapid succession.
This is going to be a weird question. Is that the lethal 100 rating? Because there are different concentration values. Normally, like the lethal dose of something is set at 50, at the 50 mark, when it will kill 50% of the people that have that much. 10 grams of that seems really, really low to me. When your blood concentration gets to 80 to 100 micrograms. Okay, yep, no. About 10 grams. I think 10 grams of anything will kill you. That's not true. How much sugar is in a...
Yeah, 10 grams of sugar will not kill you. It will... I mean, if you eat it by the spoonful,
40 grams of sugar.
Tastes great.
That is an estimation of what it would take to reach a lethal level blood concentration, which is between 80 and 100 micrograms. Okay. Two dwarves, very different stream. Two dwarves, yeah, very different stream. Two dwarves, one pick.
I've never seen that, the thing that you just referenced that I don't actually want to name, and I'm really glad I haven't.
Pop-Tarts have, 14 grams of sugar. Oliver, good guess. I love it when things are like, this has 14 grams of sugar. Includes 14 grams of added sugar. Like, maybe we don't need the first part. It does make a difference, but only just. Okay, I think I'm warmed up and ready to go.
Cool.
With my derp rugby. No, I said I do some more rugby. So let me do a quick noodle rugby so people can get some. People are coming in. They need to see how the rugby do. I had a whole bunch of people talk to me about Starship Troopers after our conversation on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently the internet is just up in arms about it because of Helldivers, which is great. But I'm going to have to read it again. For democracy. Elvin Hair, welcome in. Or a bag of something that says this is only 10 calories, and then it has one serving as one chip. Yeah. I have a bag of sodium citrate, which is a type of salt that makes things stay liquid.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
sodium bonded to citric acid, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah. Which oddly enough I can eat because it doesn't bond the same way in your body as regular salt.
Right,
but the package it came in is like, this is 10,000 times the daily salt limit of sodium you can eat, because it comes in like a 10 or like a 3 or 4 cup bag, and that's one serving. but you're only supposed to use like 10 milligrams per thing you're using. So the first time I ever made mac and cheese with it, I accidentally used a tablespoon instead of a teaspoon, and it was the saltiest thing I've ever eaten in my life.
Oh, no.
It was disgusting, and I threw it out.
Good.
Really cool stuff, though. One of my party members just messaged me, if I stab someone, do they count as an open container? No, they don't. People are not things until they die, and then they're things.
Yep.
That is rules as written, and I agree with it.
Same.
For that exact reason. I just saw... man, I need to learn this guy's name. I see his videos all the time. He's the guy that starts every YouTube short with a very high-pitched noise. This is a really bad thing.
I don't actually know who you're talking about.
Oh, but thank you. I promised you some money from our Shadow Sorcerer last week. Let's never said I'm not a man of my word. Thank you. Thank you again, Elvin here. I do appreciate that. It is also Feb23rd. Give me a race or class for a little Fey creature. And I will sketch that out real quick. Anyways, he's cool. I like his stuff, but a lot of it's silly. Just he basically does you want to hear a really bad blank for D&D? That's how almost all of his videos start. But he does it in a really high, like, voice, just to, I think, get people's attention, and it works. He was like, can I use Arcane Lock on somebody's arteries? And just, like, make them have a heart attack. And it's funny. It's very funny. It's an old school tactic that people used to use with create water, and I pick the lungs of the person I'm talking to as a container. No, that's not how that works. For that exact reason. So, people are not containers. Somehow, I have now lost my extension cords. I fear I've drywalled them into the walls. Oh no. Not a biology guy, but isn't skin just a lip lock bag for your organs? Yeah, I mean, technically, depending on how you look at it, if you're considering your insides as a bag, like, it's not a sealed container. It's just a tube. Your whole body is a tube. I guess your lungs are technically containers, depending on where you, like, draw the line.
Yeah. Your stomach is made... No,
nope,
your
stomach's a tube. Yep. You have a continuous connection from your lips to your butt. Have fun with that, people. Trickster Cleric Fairy. All right, we can do a Trickster Cleric Fairy.
That... I'm upset by that thing that you just said.
Well, I'm sorry to... have you ever seen the... there's a Futurama episode where they get turned two-dimensional. And they make a good point that if all of a sudden we were two-dimensional beings, we would either A, fall in half because there's a hole in us, or we wouldn't be able to eat. Because of the way we exist. Amoebas are weird. Your butt and your lips are made of the same type of cells. Thank you, Burn. I better get some writing done. Yeah.
Trying to think if I want to say something to make chat upset as well. Then.
I mean, we don't have to one up each other. It's fine. It's totally fine to just be horrified by science and call it a day. I feel like there's not a lot better to be a trickster fairy than an otter, so I'm going to draw an otter.
I think that's probably true.
Give him little wings. I think I am going to try to do a... People were pretty excited about that goblin thing, so I might do a little bit of a series of goblin cats, just for fun. But also, the... Brain Stop the Sagas. OKSDM's Sagas book got kickstarted, so I'll be doing a bunch of drawings for him in the upcoming months. So I might have to stop commissions for a little while. And then I'll talk about that more next month, because the schedule's going to have to change a little bit, so we'll see what's up. Just let me morph right into our conversation. Yeah. Unless you are holding weapons or things inside you, which is possible, but really unsanitary, it is not feasible. Yeah. Being turned into a two-dimensional creature is not a thing. That's actually one of the first freshman design projects that we got at the university. Something our teacher always threw at us was there's a book called Flat World, which talks about perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, like, how does a one-dimensional creature exist? What does that mean? How would they perceive a two-dimensional creature? How would a two-dimensional creature perceive the first-dimensional creature, and then so on and so forth? And so the first experiment we do is, okay, we're three-dimensional creatures. Describe how you would send somebody to a two-dimensional world, and what would they, like, live and exist and see. So it's just a thought experiment, which is really, really fun. But it can also break your brain a little bit. So, sip kisses, yeah.
That reminds me a little bit of conversations I've had where somebody of my acquaintance was arguing that if, like, it's not great, it's not really accurate, and so I'm gonna preface this with, this isn't really true, but it was an interesting thing to think about. So, like, nobody quote this as fact, please, but, like, they were making an argument that if you most microorganisms basically live two-dimensional existences.
Interesting. I think that might be an oversimplification of looking at them through a cell, like a
through a microscope.
Through a microscope?
Slide? Yeah, I agree. That's the point that I argued against them.
Because, like, flagella and stuff, like, they don't aim. Is really the thing you're talking about. So I would argue, I could definitely see the argument you're making. You're making, because they don't, while they can move through three-dimensional space, they only think kind of forward or backwards.
Yes.
Towards light or away from light. Towards acid, away from acid.
Yes. They as far as their whatever awareness they might have, whatever sensation they have is concerned, they basically only think in a line. Yeah,
which could make an argument for like one-dimensional creatures. There's only towards and away. Like there's no depth. There's no anything you bump into is an infinite wall. A grapple contest with a higher DC. Ooh, what did I miss? How can I have my armed creatures grapple a player immediately other than initiative? Without a hugely detracting from the player agency. So that's probably a tall order. It is and it's not. So there's two ways to look about it, and you can go back to like 3.5 and Pathfinder for this as well. One, give them a surprise round. So if they're stealthed in a way, or the players like walk up to something, right? So if the creature is standing around a corner and your players walk around the corner, if the creature was prepared for it, they get a surprise round, but your players should be able to roll like a perception against that. So that's the thing. Like the creature is trying to be stealthed, so that needs to exist for that to happen. Beyond that, like I also like, especially with hand tropes, like zombies that are like buried under dirt, like that counts as a stealth roll. They're immobile, so they're just laying there. And if a player steps on them, the creature automatically tries to grab them, right? That rolls initiative, but they get the surprise round. So that's the first part of it. The second part of it is there's a lot of things, and I would consider this creature valid for this, for the grab action or the constriction rules from 3.5 or Pathfinder. And the way that works is if they make a successful attack, they can then use their remaining actions, or in the case of older editions, so I think you could count this for 5e, if they don't move first. So once again, if they're basically using their attack, move action is as a whole turn to just do an attack and succeed on the grapple. And then in consecutive turns, if they have the creature grappled and they maintain the grapple, they automatically do their damage. That's how the constriction rules work. But once again, they can't do anything else with that. That's it. It takes the whole thing. So Would two-dimensional creatures be divided into X and Y axes, or Y and Z axes and ZX? Perspective. It's all perspective.
It actually matters a little bit if we're talking about a thing that exists purely in 2 dimensions or lives in 2 dimensions but on 3.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's all about perspective. Because if you are a two-dimensional creature on the XY axis and you see a two-dimensional creature on the ZY axis, you're only going to see it as as the intersect, which is a completely different creature.
Yeah.
So,
like, dimensionality gets real fucky with mathematics, and I do not understand any of the numbers. I just kind of can get my head around some of the concepts.
Yeah. Because if you're a two-dimensional creature on this plane and something tries to pass through it on this plane, this two-dimensional creature can only perceive it here. And that's the argument for fourth-dimensional creatures. Whereas we being people, even if we saw a fourth-dimensional creature, we could only see it as it passes through the third dimension. Because, I mean, that's just how the rules have worked so far. The way we perception. It's about perception. So can a three-dimensional creature see a fourth-dimensional being? Probably not, because otherwise we would be fourth-dimensional beings. Just like a two-dimensional creature, if it could see third dimensions, is technically just a flat three-dimensional creature. So, yeah. Time, people. We're trapped in it.
Yep.
Time is an illusion. It's just broken our senses. How can I make this more fey? It's got the wings. I feel like it needs horns or like maybe bug antenna. I'm gonna give it moth ears, just because you're doing moth ears.
Return to the moth. I once again found a very cool moth that I wanted to make a moth person out of, but once again it is also a very complicated design. So I've fucked myself right out the gate.
On account of, I have made it such that they can grapple with advantage and on a bonus action with a recharge of 5d6 d6. You could do that. The other thing is like, because you have so many arms, like there are creatures with 8 arms and they can attack 8 times. So that is a thing you could do. Instead of giving them advantage, what I would do is either give them advantage and just like have that be the thing, or give them 8 chances to grapple. So like don't give advantage to the grabs, but just have more of them. So it's kind of the same thing, but it is slightly different. And what I would do with that is if the creature is grappling them, like have that be a whole action. Like their whole turn is just attempting to grapple. That way you don't like, I grab with the first hand and then the rest punch. It's like, no, just grab them 8 times. And then on subsequent turns, like I said, constriction damage. Versus making 8 attacks every turn to punch. Right? I think that could be fun. And then the other part of it is, especially with D&D, the way they have it set up for 5e, you're basically like the best you're going to get is multi-attack with, I think, 2 attacks, maybe 3 attacks. So you could just do 2 grapples, and then on consecutive turns, creatures that start their turn grappled take like a d6 constriction damage. But because they have 8 arms, they can grapple up to 8 people. So like, that could be fun. Accuracy by volumes, yeah. Or use a legendary action to make a grapple attempt. That could be good too. Yeah, they make a grapple attempt on each at the end of a turn. That would be fun. I think that could be good.
I love accuracy by volume.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure I'm not the only person in first edition Pathfinder who built a 2-weapon fighter monk with a shillelagh quarterstaff, just crit fishing.
Yep. Crit fishing is fun.
It's a pain in the ass for a GM.
I mean, yeah. I think second edition kind of fixed it.
Yes, I agree.
I think they found a better way around it, which I really like. We've been using that system for skill checks for a long time. Kevin and I have talked about that a lot, about like severity of criticals.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like, if you roll a 1, that's the worst you could do. If you roll like a 2, it's still bad but not worse, you know, like. And then if you rolled, which is what the critical failure success, critical success is.
Yeah.
And I think I like that system better. It makes a lot more sense thematically because you can talk about it a little more. It's a little more nuanced. Second time today, not a biology guy. Is life possible with 2 dimensions? Would a brain even be able to function the way we are? No. But that's why it's a thought experiment. It's a thought experiment, and I think Druid had it the right way, like by microbiotic life kind of is the closest thing we can think of, because they don't perceive things in 3 dimension. They just perceive. And I guess they do, but they live on a flat plane, much like humans can kind of conceptualize flight. Whereas microbes cannot. They just exist and float. Like their medium doesn't matter. They can only react. So 2-dimensional life is weird. Go ahead, read Flat World. It's kind of interesting. It's a good little deep dive into that kind of thought process. But us, can we? No. it would break. Our brain is not.
Yeah, life in general, nobody actually knows.
Yeah. As far as you know, there is no 2-dimensional life. 1-dimensional life, I guess, would be like just 1s and 0s, just binary, line or no line. Perception doesn't exist or work in those perspectives, except for like bumping into stuff. So I can make a grapple 8 times and then drag people into the labyrinth array of rocky tunnels. Yeah, that could be fun. So that's the thing that I would look at. If you want this to be like terrifying for arms and not just like the Gloctopus. The Gloctopus is a great creature, but it's stupid.
The name makes me laugh every time you bring it up.
But Audible Rook, you're still good. Thank you. Good, Elliot. I hope that was not a problem earlier. So I would say if you want your creature to do that, you could run it like a swarm. Like all it does is grapple. And then, like I said, it's just anybody that's next to it at the start of the turn takes a little bit of damage from like the clawing hands. Just keep the damage really low. And then it's more terrifying that people are just getting grabbed and pulled. And then it's less about like, you know, you're not worrying about accidentally critting the wizard to death. It's just, it becomes a static ongoing problem of like, okay, we don't want to be near this guy. We need to be ranged. But then it's going to run up and grab the ranger and just pull him back into the caves, right? It's like, no. Like, that's great.
Basically treating it more like a trap than a monster.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Oliver, I think that's a good way to do it then. Then don't worry so much about damage and just focus on those grabs and, like, positioning. I think that's a good way to do it. Or, like, maybe it throws him in a pit and just leaves him there. What is this? This pit is full of fingernail polish and toenails.
Yes.
All right, I'm rolling some dice. For people who don't know the way this works, I have a whole bunch of things listed from earlier in the week. You can also add them today if you've not added one this week. I'm going to roll the dice. The dice will decide what we draw, and that's how we go. 5. Grung Warlock with a frog patron. I still don't know if that's supposed to be like their patron is an actual frog. So they just have like a frog familiar that they think is their deity. Or if there's like a frog deity. That 90 foot of spider climb is going to go hard. 90 foot is a lot. Like, that's a lot of movement.
In 5e, I don't even think anything with fly gets 90 feet of movement.
Yeah. That is 1.5 times dash speed. So if that's just its normal speed,
that's too much.
That's too much. Yeah. The Great Hopper God, yeah. I follow an artist that does both portraits, and I'm really tempted to use them as part of my goblin work. Like incorporating their work or using them as references? I know I just drew an otter with a really wide set face, but I don't know how else to draw.
A grung?
Grungs, yeah.
Yeah. Look, frogs and toads have really wide faces anyway. I don't think it's a problem.
So 60 feet is better, but still bonkers. Because even that, if they're holding somebody and you move them half speed, like, you're still going to move them 30 feet away and then no one can catch up to them. So
yeah, unless you've got a high level monk in your party.
Yeah, high level monk.
But that's not something that you should be like measuring against, though.
I would definitely play around with your level design over one big giant room where no one will ever be able to catch this thing, right? Like, that's not fun.
Yeah, agreed. I would not go over
45, maybe.
45. Yeah, 45 is the absolute highest I think you should go.
Because then if you dash, you still get almost 90 feet, but you're spending, you're dashing, and you can't do that with a person. So. I went off my allergy medication for the week of something and drank a normal amount of caffeine, and I thought jitters were dangerous. Yeah. All right, serious talk time question. What the hell do we make warlocks look like? Like, I don't have a set design for warlocks anymore. I always just made them look like sorcerers.
Maybe it's because of chat, but like I default to cowboy now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Alvin here, that's totally fine. Just make them look evil. So every warlock from now on is just punching babies, kicking puppies, and being rude to people on the internet.
Plagiarizing,
yeah. He's just got a hat that says "I love Donald Trump" and AI art.
Ugh.
Make the internet good again.
Getting exposed by H-Bomber guy and then refusing to acknowledge or apologize.
Facial tattoos. Maybe facial tattoos. I'm going to put a frog on this guy. I think it's funnier if this guy is legitimately the patron of a frog.
No, he's a lost Nigerian prince, I swear.
I've been trying real hard with making the YouTube shorts to, like, make sure I cite everything.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I'm doing, like, showing off other people's art, because it's like, I want to make sure people know that this isn't my art.
Yeah.
But I definitely, like, I feel bad for those guys that make a name for themselves just stealing content and then realizing, like, maybe this was bad. Maybe this was a bad idea. It's like, yeah.
I don't know about when they were in school, but I was taught about the importance of citing your sources and vetting your sources.
I definitely cheated on a physics test once, and I still failed. So it doesn't always help. But yeah, I wrote all the formulas on my arm because I could not remember them. Turns out I just didn't understand them. That was the problem. The problem is I didn't understand the formulas, so my cheating didn't help. But frogs are like butterflies, a symbiotic of change and evolution. A symbiotic of change and evolution. Symbolic. Yeah, okay. Symbolic of change and evolution. Got it. That makes sense. If you feel like you got to cheat on a test, get some help. That's all I got to say. It does, like, the tutor people are there for a reason. When they're awesome.
I never like wrote down formulas because formulas were the schools I went to, the professors were like, it's stupid, to have to memorize the formulas, since if you're always going to be able to reference them. So like I never had to cheat in the way you did, and I don't count that as cheating, because it's a professor that refuses to allow you to reference the formulas is, in my opinion,
If you let people
being
copy off
stupid.
you, is that cheating? Technically, yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is cheating,
That is
because
cheating.
you and the other person are facilitating somebody not doing the work and taking credit for it.
Yeah. A male clan Shmi. I don't know what that is, so I'll have to look that up. Old school doctor with smaller horns? Oh, I don't know anything about this. Elven Hair, we will see if it gets rolled, and if so, I will look it up. Or you can feel free to post something about it in the Discord chat. I just looked at the strangle rules for 5e, and it seems that the party would die in about 2 turns if they didn't break out. Yep. I really do think your best bet is the constriction rules. Look up constriction rules. And, yeah, 45 feet is good. Because then on a turn, if they need to move, they can move very fast. But it doesn't make it so fast that the players will never be able to catch them. So
Yeah.
Especially if they have a climb speed, like if they shimmy up a wall and just vanish, that's gonna break people's brains a little bit.
Yeah.
Every now and again, I'll draw something like this and just think, what am I doing with my life?
I pretty much only think, what am I doing with my life, when I try to change my art style. I have been doing lately.
I've cheated a lot then.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Look, you know what, Brian? I have heard it said, I don't know that I believe this, but I have heard it said, and I do think it is on some level generally accepted, that the people who are doing best in school are the people who know how to cheat well.
I could see that. I think the other thing to look at is school is really, it's testing specific things. And so, like, depending on what's important to your learning processes, like, cheating shouldn't be necessary. Do you know how to learn? Do you know how to find the things you're supposed to find? Like you were saying, like, a lot of people have kind of moved away from the writ memorization, and, like, yes, bring the formulas in on a piece of paper. As long as you know how to use them, it's good. When I started college, we weren't allowed to use calculators.
Ooh,
And so I had to learn Calculus 1 without a calculator, and that was just brutal. But then if you go to, like, physics and stuff, they're like, why the fuck wouldn't you have a calculator? You'll never not have a calculator at work. And it's like, cool, great. So, like, different things matter for different reasons.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to, like, high school cheating is pretty sad, because it really is just a matter of someone taking advantage of somebody else.
Yeah.
So I hope you were happy with it. And if you were giving away answers, that's fine. It doesn't matter. But the other people probably got a worse education because of it. I was the kid that helped everybody in the science class. I was the science nerd.
I do think that if you're allowing somebody else to cheat, then I mean, it is still cheating, but I also feel like that the person who chose to cheat off you probably was not going to learn the material anyway. So I think that is less bad. You're still facilitating
slippery slope.
cheating.
Slippery slope. It's a slippery slope.
I mean, fair, yes.
I wasn't going to do it anyway, so you should just give me full credit. That's what I just heard from you. Slippery slope. Yeah, I don't know. Every time it plays an ad, it puts me at the beginning of the video. That's really weird, Elliot. I don't know what that's about. How much health should it have? Ballpark. Level 2 cleric, druid, warlock. 3 players at level 2. Each of those, yeah, one of them's a healer, but each of those can probably do, I'm going to say 6 damage on average in a turn. 4 to 6 damage. So you're looking at like 10 to 12 damage a round. Depending on how long you want the fight to last. If you can kill them in 2 turns, that, 8. I've had 6 ads since the 20-minute mark. That's weird. I have it on like low ad density.
YouTube or Twitch?
I'm not on Twitch. Twitch keeps bogging down the internet, so.
Right.
Yeah, that's very weird, Elliot. Let me know if anyone else has been getting that many ads, because they should not be doing that. You know what? Elven Hair actually gave us a super chat today, so we'll just turn ads off. Everyone thank Elven Hair for sponsoring the stream today. Boom. No more ads. Unless I go for a break, and then I'll turn an ad on. So hopefully that will fix that. What was I doing? Oh, yeah. Sorry, Drew. I didn't mean to call you out there, but
you're good. No, like 100% like agree with you. And I'm not saying that it was okay. I'm saying it's less bad. But you're right. It's a slippery slope.
Slippery slope. No. Bear in mind, the creature won't have much damage. It will mostly be dragging people everywhere and constricting people. Yeah, so I think you're going to want it to last probably 6 rounds. So you're probably going to want to give it like 50 or 60 hit points. I think that's probably a good mark. Because that could be, like I said, if you're doing 8, that's about 6 rounds of combat. That might actually be a little too much. So you might want to start it with 30 or 40, and then if somebody gets like a really good crit off or something like right at the beginning and does 10 damage a hit, maybe bump it up to 60. Just see how it's going. But that's generally what I would do. This should be a level 3 or 4 creature, so it's probably going to have a D8. Bri 28. Yeah, no ads. All right. All right, Bri did it. I mean, I think I already have it edited that way. If anybody gets an ad, tell me, and I will turn off monetization for this one. Thank you, Bri. Bri, you also get a fairy creature. What kind of fairy creature would you like? We should stop forcing students to learn how to take ACT, SAT tests instead of actually teaching. Yeah, that's kind of the argument I was getting to. Yeah. There are definitely types of teaching that are not functional for some people. And so I'm not saying cheating is the solution to that. What I'm saying is, like, if there's 2 types of people that cheat. People that are lazy, like they just don't want to do the work. And those people, like, steal people's work and claim it as their own, or they just don't do the work and they fail. Like, that's fine. I've been both of the. I've been the second person. I've never turned in somebody else's work. But like I've seen both of those. And then the other problem is people like Druid. What you're saying is people that just can't comprehend it, and instead of, like I said, going and finding help, which would then hopefully get them alternate forms of teaching, or just don't have access to alternate forms of teaching, feel like they have to perform by stealing or copying somebody else's work. So like. Both of those are kind of the reasons people cheat. And the lazy thing is really just like, I want to have a good grade. I don't want my parents to like find out that I'm not paying attention and I'm not willing to pay attention. That's someone else I've known as well. So yeah. 50 it is. I can say that it's dispelled if it gets too hard. Yeah. The other thing you could do is put it at 50, and then if fight is taking too long, you can usually have a point where it starts becoming vulnerable. Like it's lost some limbs or something and it's weaker, to make it go a little faster. Mr. Mix. Oh no, that's fan art, but I think we can make that work.
Mexus Pitalik?
Yeah. Basically, yeah. It's a leprechaun. I'm gonna draw a leprechaun. And then we'll come back to the grung. I know we're talking a lot today, and I'm not drawing much. I was watching some other art streams yesterday, and I realized how little work they actually get done. And I was like, well,
Yeah, suddenly my output doesn't seem so bad, huh?
yeah. Maybe I
I'm
just need to.
not that you have ever disparaged me.
Maybe I just need to actually talk more instead of drawing so much. But welcome in.
Yay. I think actually
Oh no.
I was about to say this and you show up just in time. I think one of the reasons that you don't need to speak so much, Rook, is because we usually have Corvus here to help facilitate a conversation. So you and I can draw while there is talk happening.
Yeah, that's true.
Or I will sometimes try to fanily steer us away from a problematic conversation that we just need to stop. Full stop. Like,
Yeah.
nope, stop.
Druid says cheat.
Oh,
Cheat
we're
all the
going.
time.
Man, I did not say that, but okay.
Our streams are largely about hanging out. Yeah, that's fair. Holy shit, the moth looks great. That's
Oh,
Druid.
thanks.
Once.
I will let Druid say thank you instead of me saying thank you.
I very much appreciate the compliment.
How much AC should it have? Honestly, if it's just a bunch of arms, it doesn't have armor. It doesn't have natural armor. If it's a level 4 monster, it could have 1 point of natural armor. So I would say 10 plus its dexterity plus 1, whatever that is. And considering it's a bunch of arms, I would guess maybe 2 or 3 dexterity. So yeah, 13, 14 sounds right to me, especially at a level 2. Your players are going to be hitting about half the time, which takes that damage from 10 a round to maybe 5 a round. And then at 40 hit points, that's still 8 rounds of combat. So I think that sounds about right. I hope that tracked. I've done this so much that I just say it really fast. I hope people understand my rationale.
I usually do, but
What?
I've been modding monsters since before I started following your channel, so I'm not sure if I'm a good benchmark.
I guess my question is, because I have a table here, what is the CR of this creature?
Well, I said level 4. So this is for a
Yeah.
party of level 2, 3 level 2s. So this is technically, it should be a CR like 1/2 to 2. But it is a boss, so we could go to CR3 and make it really dangerous.
Yeah, so a CR3
Should be a level 4 or 5 character.
Yeah.
has like anywhere from 101 to 115 HP.
What?
Yeah. Average HP 108.
Sweet Jesus.
With a +4 to its attack.
That makes sense to me.
Just to clarify, I am getting it from this table that someone posted.
The monster quick stat. That's true.
So like a CR2 ranges from 86 to 100 health. Average of 93.
See, okay, but if you're fighting level 2 creatures and you're doing 15 to 20 damage a round, that's like one-shotting somebody. Isn't it? How much health does a level 2 cleric have? Maybe 16?
A little bit more.
They should have more than that. It should be Constitution plus
Plus a d8. So you automatically get the d8 plus your constitution,
Yeah.
let's say +2, that's 10. And
plus
then you roll.
about 4 or 5.
Yeah, that's 14. So
Oh, okay.
so that CR3 creature would instantly kill level 2 creatures.
Yeah.
I don't like this chart. A basilisk. Basilisk has 52 hit points. And has a +5 to hit. And on average does 10 damage. 10 to 7 damage. So 15, okay. Because it's 2 attacks. That's why. 15 damage over 2 attacks.
Yeah.
That makes more sense.
Cause like,
My cleric has 19, and the warlock, I don't know about the druid. Okay. Yeah, so that should be fine then.
Alright, I'm ready to roll.
Hit me.
What dice?
D12.
D12. A 5.
Male, secretary bird. I'm just gonna read. I'm gonna read the whole thing. Male secretary bird Aarakocra, long death monk. Wreathed in bangles and jewelry. It says mid dive kick, but I don't take pose suggestions, so it's up to you.
Sounds good.
Secretary bird is the long-legged, like eagle-looking thing.
Gotcha.
From Africa.
That likes to fucking destroy snakes.
Yep.
Fuck and destroy snakes. Interesting.
Fucking destroy, not fuck and destroy.
93 hit points now. Yeah, I would start with 50 and see how it goes. Depends on your characters, honestly, because if they're geared out, that would make more sense. But if they're just now hitting level 2 and don't have like +1 gear across the board, that's gonna wreck them.
I guess also my question is there a barbarian or fighter or paladin?
Yeah, that's true. Because they'll be dumping more damage.
Yep. At least at early levels compared to like a caster.
Level 2 is before their smite, though, correct?
They might get that
No,
level
3. I think
3.
they get maybe.
I thought they
might
got
be
it at
2.
level 3,
Might
but
be
I
2 or
could be
3.
wrong.
It's easy to forget that even being a DM is a level of being a game designer. Oh yeah. Yeah. Your poor players are the guinea pigs for the game balance. Oh, yep. You know, I usually do it on the fly. Does this guy have 4 arms? That's kind of awesome.
Paladins get smite at level 2 because that's when they get their fighting style and spell casting.
Okay. Good to know.
And they have 2 first level spells. So. With the exception of like clerics, wizards, and warlocks, most classes don't really come online until level 3.
Yeah.
Which is why I usually don't play a campaign below level 3. Or I usually will start at level 3.
I made this guy a tiny gnome with a beard that is his whole body.
Yep.
I don't know if this is the right thing for me to do.
Seems fine to me.
I think we're going to go with that.
If you got a beard that long, you don't need clothes.
Exactly. It's like the Corrin.
The Corrin?
Yeah, Corrin. They're a type of hairy fae.
Oh, okay. Dude has 14 or 16, yeah. They are quite strong, though there's no specific gear. The AC of the cleric is 18. The warlock is 15. The paladin cannot make this session, so it will just be those 3. Yeah,
Maybe this.
Yeah, +4 to hit with an 18 AC. That's like a 40% chance to hit. 15 is going to be more of a 50%, so it's not bad. Got it. Okay. Thanks, Corvus. I remember those guys now. They have fought a man with a multi-attack and 60 HP at level 1, and granted they're with 4 of them. Yeah, Elven Hair, I saw that. I like that guy. Does that picture have 4 arms? Is that correct for that race? Yeah, so if you haven't upgraded their gear since the last time they fought it, I would start with 60 hit points and see how it goes.
Oh, it's a Samitsi. They can have as many arms as they want.
I agree.
They're flesh wizard. vampires.
Ah, okay.
And Secretary Bird in a dive kick is gonna be real long.
I would suggest maybe not drawing the wings. Like, just have it go off the page.
Yeah, I'm just gonna indicate them for sure.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Secretary Birds really do look a lot like the love child of a Chinese crane and a peacock.
Okay.
They also have eyelashes, which is very weird for birds.
Yeah, they've got real big eyelashes.
Yeah, Oliver. I think you're in a good place. You just gotta try it now. See how it goes.
If you end up killing the party, get to start over with new characters.
Mm-hmm. They're only level 2. It's fine. How well they dealt with every other enemy I throw at them, so I just want to make it challenging. I mean, if they're level 1 and they're doing really well against everything you throw at them, it might be something you need to change your fighting tactics.
Yeah.
Because, like, D&D 5e is kind of like tank and spank is the way to do it. So you really have to figure out how you're going to make the fight interesting enough that it's not just a tank and spank. Especially if this thing's constantly running away, it's going to be a lot of attacks of opportunity, which means just doubling the damage that's possible if they're all melee. There's a whole bunch of stuff. I think I tried to draw this guy as Lokatha instead of a Grung. He needs some more bumps. Do it. Do it. I love the term tank and spank. It's an old one. It's an old term. Get the tank up to the boss. Kill him. Yeah, if there's death saves and stuff, then I don't think they walked through it. I think you did fine. As long as everybody's having fun, you're good.
Yeah. You don't actually want people to go down every fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, Druid.
I
blame our team cohesion.
Really?
And Druid.
I
blame Druid.
I usually do too. Like, there's our campaign has been difficult. Either you guys have like no challenge at all, or you have no ability to deal with stuff that I was sure was not going to be a problem.
I think part of it might be, and this can go for everybody. As the DM, make decisions for the party sometimes. Like, there have been a few times when you've been like, you can bring multiple people, or we can do this, we can do that, and then we make the opposite choice of what you expect.
and then
I think it's
then I fail to adapt.
Yeah, so I think in those situations, if you've already built a thing expecting we're going to do something, tell us what that is expected thing. Like, I want at least one person to bring a second character, or like, you're going to need a tank for this one. That kind of stuff can be really good. Especially we're in a weird situation because we have we have a serialized game and we have multiple characters, so that's not true for everybody. But there is a point where an NPC might just say, hey, you guys are going to fight this thing. You're going to need to bring winter clothes, right? You're going to need to bring something to deal with the ghosts, right? Like, I think that can be really smart. And you've done a good job of that at certain points. But there's also been a few points when, like, in retrospect, you've said something like that and we have basically disregarded it because we didn't think it was super important. So
the thing that I find frustrating when I do give options is like, this is probably my fault, although not always, because basically I have asked for input about what people want to do and then nobody gives me a response.
Yep. That is definitely a thing that our party does.
And I find often in combat situations as well, or starting even just starting out an encounter, like I will try to set the stage and then open it up for people to act and do something, and everybody just kind of sits there with their like on their fingers waiting for somebody else to make the first move. And I think that it's genuinely because nobody wants to step on anybody else's toes.
Team cohesion, yeah. We're horrible at it.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's not unique to our party.
Nope. And I'm not going to feel too bad about the criticism you just gave me, because no GM is perfect.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes, we all fail, and we learn from it when we can and repeat mistakes when we can't.
Yeah. And I do think, like I said, like, that's less of a critique and more of a suggestion, maybe even for our party specifically.
Yeah.
Is if you feel like people aren't responding, tell us what you want us to do. Because, if no one wants to make a decision, and a lot of times I'll pull back because I want to let other people make decisions, and then nobody does it. So it's just like, either I will just always start stepping on people's toes, or as a DM, just be okay with, guiding the party. I think that's fine.
Pausing the game is fine.
Yeah. What rules am I looking for at the constriction? Look up 3.5 constriction. It's a monster. It's not a feat. It's a monster ability, I want to say. Or not constriction. Is it constriction? I think it's called constrict. I think it's a monster ability called constrict. And it's just at the start of a turn, if a creature is grappled. And the way it works in the older editions is then at the beginning of the turn, you can basically make a new grapple check to maintain the grapple. And if that succeeds, damage is dealt. So that works. I think the T-Rex has one of those for a bite. Like if it gets it in your jaws and it's in your jaws, it can constrict. It does constrict damage and then has a chance to swallow you. So I believe that's one of the examples of it. I'm done with this guy. I don't know what else to do. He's got a tiny frog in his head telling him to murder stuff. You know what? I do know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to put a leaf on his head.
You do love leaves on creatures' heads.
It's such a good design. It adds volume and lift. And it's a tiny umbrella. How much damage is that? Took a look and I didn't say. It should just be, I believe, the attack of whatever arm they're holding. Let me look. A creature with a special attack can crush an opponent, dealing bludgeoning damage after making a successful grapple. The amount of damage is given in the creature entity. If the creature also has an improved grab ability, it deals constrict damage in addition to damage dealt by the weapon used to grab. So, how much damage would a zombie grab do? That's what we should look at.
Pathfinder, it says the amount of damage is given in the creature's entry and is typically equal to the amount of damage caused by the creature's melee attack.
Yeah, that's what I just read that.
Yeah.
Sorry, was I too quiet? I might have been talking into my hand. That is also what I read for 3.5 as well. So.
Okay.
So we're looking at like a zombie here, which is essentially what you're making. You're making a pile of zombies. Zombies have a slam attack, which is a d6 plus 1 bludgeoning damage. So I would do a d6 plus 1 bludgeoning damage. Yeah. If you want, you could look for a zombie that is CR3, but that might be too much.
Also, make sure your zombies are weak against slashing damage.
Yeah, especially if it's just made out of arms.
Yep.
100%.
Because if you do that, it'll also give away of your players still succeeding, but still there is a risk of them just getting absolutely murked.
Mm-hmm.
It's a glimmer of hope.
Three-handed axe? What? Oh, 3 hand axe attacks. Okay. I'm alright. This says it's a d6 plus 3 with multi-attack at level 3. So I think a d6 is probably right. And then just add the strength modifier to it, whatever you give it for strength. What was that about re-rolling the grapple? So on the first turn, when you succeed in the grapple check, they're grappled. Then on consecutive turns, when you... Or actually, it might just be... Druid, maybe this could be... The way this is worded is a little vague. I always wait around. Let me double check here. Dealing bludgeoning damage after making a successful grapple check. Yeah, so it's anytime they make a successful grapple check. So...
Yeah.
So at the beginning of the turn, you need to reconfirm the grapple. You're spending your action to do the grapple action again, to maintain it. And then you get to do the damage. It just does the damage automatically.
Yeah. Where I'm looking is the Pathfinder SRD Universal Monster rules.
Yeah, and I'm just on the official D&D 3.5 wiki. Because the idea is, normally, if you grapple a creature, on the next turn, you have to maintain the grapple, and that's your action, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
These monsters can do that and still hurt you. That's what makes it dangerous. Yeah. So I would keep doing that.
Yeah. In Pathfinder, there's a specific Q&A FAQ answered by the developers asking when Constrict deals damage, and they say, you basically said this already, but they also say that whenever you make a successful grappling check, including the first time you establish the check.
Mm-hmm. It's a specific monster feat that allows for creatures like things with bites and claw attacks to do damage and grapple. Yeah. Because that makes sense. Yeah. It's a weird example. If everybody could do that, it would be the most overpowered thing in the game. Because then there would be no reason to have a sword. You just grab somebody and crush them. Grab somebody and crush them. Which is why a lot of bite attacks can be really powerful if you allow that kind of stuff. So food run, be right back. No problem, Bri. Get some awesome food. It's a way to make monsters that only have a bite attack a little more feasible for monsters.
Yeah. Make them deal enough damage to keep up with your barbarian.
Yeah. I rolled a 10. I have an Aasimar purple short scythe, is what I wrote down. I think someone was trying to make me draw Grimace. I think they were really trying to skirt the issue, and so I only wrote down the important parts.
Yep. I also remember that there were a blood hunter.
Yeah. They kind of came up with the character after the fact, so I'm just going to draw a purple Aasimar. I'm just going to do my thing.
I mean, they exist.
Sure. Aasimars don't have horns. They could.
Yes.
But I'm gonna do something a little different.
Sometimes I wish we saw more variation in the way ASMR are depicted. Like, I'd love to see an ASMR descendant of a Hound Archon that is just a dog boy or girl.
I completely agree with you, but I like drawing sexy angels, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna contradict everything I talk about all the time with ASMR and tieflings and just draw the generic kind.
The basically human.
Mm-hmm.
Right. What kind of clothing do I want to give the secretary bird? That's probably a little big. I could beef him up a little bit. They are just fancy schmancy eagles.
Yep. That are all leg.
Yeah, well, they're all, yeah, all leg in the same way owls are all leg.
Which way doth the scythe go? This way. Celestials can get really weird, so ASMR can get really weird too. I agree. There's an artist I've seen with ASMR characters is a goat lady. Ooh, that could be fun. Agathonian blooded, angel blooded, Archon blooded. What am I? Oh, these are different options for.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Specifically in Pathfinder.
Gotcha. Garuda blooded. That's funny.
Yep.
I didn't think about that. Should we add some little, like, big old feathers?
Feathered hair. Instead of just normal hair.
Feathered hair? I like that. We could try that. Just like poofs. Weird poofs and Garuda fluff.
I keep hearing Gerudo.
Oh.
And so I'm like, well, I mean, really, you should just be drawing an 8-foot-tall redhead woman with crazy awesome thighs.
I was wondering where you're going.
Invades my dreams at night. Just like get real, like,
What?
weird trauma induced. Druid was getting a little too specific and a little too personal. It felt like I felt like that's the direction it was going.
Yep, it was a little bit. I stopped myself.
Filthy
wasn't
harlot.
Learn a lot. So we're going to learn a lot about Druid with what they say next.
Yeah.
It was. I stopped myself. I reined myself in. It was not going to get traumatic. It was going to get sexual.
Damn cheerleaders with their fancy tiny skirts.
Also, speaking of Pathfinder, I saw a tweet last night from the person who runs Archives of Nethys.
You muscle mommies, yeah. Go ahead, sorry. Sorry, I was reading chat. Go ahead.
It's fine. And that sometime soon they are going to have a an actual date for the release for all the remastered stuff.
Nice.
Okay, good.
So,
Nice.
I assume what they were doing is we're waiting until they had a bigger clump of it.
No, it is. So they've said the reason why is because they wanted to be able to have a little toggle switch
Okay.
on the website to switch over to the new remastered rules
Oh.
and be able to
Okay.
switch back and forth.
So
basically,
they're
they had to wait for a developer to rebuild it or to build a whole new system for their website.
because essentially what that means is that they're updating the pages, not creating a mirror site.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is expansive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
So they're going to have to go in and just re-edit everything. That's interesting. That's cool.
But I guess once that gets done, it'll be easier then to. It won't take as long for them to add the other new remastered stuff once they get the framework done.
I was gonna say it's just a framework update thing, which can take a long time. I did that once for a year. I had to update some guy's website to do that.
Yeah.
Oof.
And that was after I decided I hate web design. I'm not doing it anymore, and I went back to school. And then I got a job, and the guy I was working for was like, "Hey, I know you've been doing animations for me, but website design." And I was like, "God damn it!" So it happens.
Because like the last time they had an update was back in October. So it's like it's been a while.
Yeah. I like the idea of Gerudo. I'm just gonna make fluffy bird legs. Bird claw arms. I feel like I'm just drawing a harpy now. Oh my god.
Same.
I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 last night. I have a friend that we just don't get to see very often, so like every other week we play a little bit of Baldur's Gate 3.
Uh-huh.
And we just got to the harpies in the first act, and we were level 2, and they just wrecked us. Like, turn 1, everyone's charmed. Turn 2, everybody died. And it was like, okay, cool. Let's try that again. Like, maybe we need one more level in this, but we did it eventually. But oh man, it was a rough time.
I'm gonna go fun withers.
Yeah. I didn't want to play as Lizelle. I want to play as the druid guy. Halsin, yeah. So I'm like, I'll play Lizelle until we get Halsin. But then I was like, I don't want to play another fighter, so I respect her as a barbarian. She's not spec'd well to be a barbarian. Just like, it was a bad idea. So we'll see what happens.
I didn't think you could be not spec'd well to be a barbarian in 5e.
She's got like +2 strength and like +1 dex, so it's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I stand corrected. I thought she was like a fighter type character though.
She is. She is, but she's meant to have, like heavy armor.
I gotcha.
So like you're unarmed. She doesn't have a high dex, so her armor's really low, even with unarmored defense. She's got really high constitution, which is great, but having a lower strength score and low dex score means that she's not good at throwing items. And yeah, so she'll do okay. She'll be fine. But you know, you can respect the stats. Yeah, I just didn't do that. I just straight across respect her. So
when Rook plays barbarians, he wants to grab and throw things.
Yep. That was my plan. I went to a basketball game while I was in Boise over last week.
Mm-hmm.
I've not been to a basketball game in like 20 years. I went and watched the BSU guys play. And it was really funny because like we got there And I'm looking and I'm like, why do the BSU guys look so much bigger than the other guys that are playing? They just look beefy. And then they stomped them. I was just like, do basketball games just go this way? And the guy I was with is like, no, college basketball games don't usually go 90-60. They got trounced. And I was like, okay. It was weird and interesting to watch, but just thinking of like looking at how people like, oh yeah, that guy's a barbarian. He's gonna destroy them, and they did destroy them. Makes a difference.
Basketball is not a sport that I usually think of as having particularly strength focused.
Yeah, that's fair.
Players.
Like for part of it, it's just size because you're like jumping and reaching around and like So arm length makes a big difference. And these guys were like a head taller than the other team. But beyond that, like the other team, I can't remember what team they were playing. It was like Fresno, might have been Fresno State. They were sinking 3-pointers because that's the only thing they could do. Like they just couldn't get to the net without BSU just like smacking them down. So the only thing they could do was pass around and try to do 3-pointers, and they were doing a really good job at that. Like they were keeping up with 3-pointers, which I think is impressive. But because the other team was just muscling them out, they couldn't ever get to the net, and they lost. So it sucked. But it was interesting to watch. I haven't watched sports like that in a long time. I always min-max Karlak as a barbarian. She's earned a permanent slot on my team. Nice. Yeah, the friend I'm playing with said, we can play whatever, but I refuse to have Karlak on my team. So we couldn't have her. Yeah, he does not like her.
One of like 20 people in the whole world.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you like who you like, so.
Yep.
From what I understand about Lizelle, I'm surprised as many people like her as do.
We hated her so much so that the first time we played through, we just killed her. But then we did another run where Jump Rope played as her, and it was like, oh yeah, she's a cool character. So I think the designers purposefully did that because a lot of the characters are kind of off-putting at the beginning.
Yep.
Which I think adds a little bit of realism to the game. Like,
yeah.
Why would you let a vampire join your party? Like.
I appreciate that it's very clearly not supposed to be the hero's team lawful good.
Yeah.
Setting.
I too also used to not like Lizelle, but I watched a playthrough and about her story progressing. I was like,
yeah, it's a good story.
An interesting story.
There's lots of choices in it, which is really cool. To kind of let her really, like, you can really choose to have her be go a few different directions. Yeah. Because she really like she very much is starts out the game just with this absolute belief in her
superiority.
Well, I mean, no, just we need to find the creche. They will save us. Like, she just has this absolute faith in her people, and then she loses it, right? And that always is a good story, I think. It makes a good story. People like kind of challenging their own beliefs. Whereas, like, Will is just kind of in a bad situation, and it sucks, and you have to help him. That's it. Like, his thing is, please help me. Like, he's basically a damsel in distress. So, less interesting to me. He's entitled to his opinion. It's wrong, but still, yeah.
I have more respect for Karlak in general, just because she is a strong character who doesn't have to be an ass in order to still be a strong character.
I mean, she murders a whole group of people.
But so do you.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
murder is not a crime in this world, remember?
Karlak doesn't...
Only in cities.
Karlak doesn't disapprove of you trying to save people. Right?
She's chaotic good. Like, for sure.
Whereas Asterion and Lae'zel are like, I can't believe you would waste our time trying to help these freeloaders.
Yeah.
You could always leave. I mean, not you, but
Them.
referring to them.
Yeah.
By the end of the first time I played the game, because I was playing with people and not the NPCs, everybody had either left or died. I had no NPCs, and I think Halsin was the only one left. So they kidnapped Halsin, and they're like, "We're gonna murder this guy," and we're like, "Yeah, that's fine." Like, we don't know who that is. So yeah, we beat the game with no NPCs.
That's very funny.
I've kidnapped your friend. Who's that? Who's that now? The guy. He was at your camp. He was? I don't remember that.
Why?
Yeah, why was he in our camp? Thank you.
Makes me feel so infuriated, Rick. it's just me and you play games very differently, and I get that.
I was talking to. I was talking to
Sorry,
some of my
go ahead.
friends about. The new Elden Ring thing, and I told them, I was like, I mean, people just play games differently, right? Because some of my friends are just haven't even played the game that much. I.e., talking about you, but know almost all of the lore compared to me, I've played through the game like 3 or 4 times. And my friend's
Same.
my friend's like, yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going on in the story as well. But I appreciate that it exists. And I was like, fair enough. So yeah, like there's definitely a point of contention with that. It's just like, I don't when I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3, sometimes I'll stop and be like, wait, what the hell is going on? Like, I don't get how we got to where we're at. Or we'll bump into somebody that I like accidentally skipped a cutscene for because I was in a shop or something while they were doing it. And it's just like, who's this guy? Like, what are we doing here?
Because for me, the first games I ever played was Skyrim and Dragon Age.
Mm-hmm.
Story heavy.
Skyrim is not. I would argue Skyrim is not super story heavy because you could just flat out ignore it.
Correct.
Play the game.
Which is what I
But there's
the main
also
missions.
tons of story so to the point where if you wanted to focus on it, you could get lost in it for literal years.
And like, Dragon Age is very like story driven and like companion driven, and I love those stories.
Lizelle isn't lying when she says she's kind and merciful, but Githyanki are also basically a comedian for her people. But for Githyanki, she's also a comedian. She's also a zealot, but she tries to help despite that. That's true, you know. Lizelle also is stuck in a world so alien that she knows, and she is actually trying to help you too. So alien to what she knows. Someone she
From the
deals
Astral
with.
Sea.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, so basically, she shouldn't be with you, trying to help you, according to her people. Her people would just have killed you all off and been done with it, right? So yeah, I can see she definitely has that air of, I'm a hard ass, but she's actually trying to help. So I do appreciate that. But you can also play these characters so differently that I think that's kind of the beauty of it. I want to find out as much lore as I can while I'm still getting stuff done. Yeah, I just don't care. Like, not like I won't actively push away from story. Like I have friends that are just like, why do games have stories? I hate this, and it's like it's part of the medium. Like, it's fine.
If you don't want a story, play Mario.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Halo.
I was watching on Pirate Software, some Pirate Software clips.
Yeah.
And he was talking about a kid that, and I say kid, he was talking about somebody who was just like, why doesn't your game have any story? And he's like, the game is 90% story. Like, it's just a story. And he's like, oh, well, the cutscenes were boring, so I skipped them. And it's like you can't have both of those things. You can't say a game has no story and ignore it. Like,
Yeah. Was that comment made by Aaron Hansen?
You're right. So it's kind of the thing with Elden Ring. Like, I've talked about it having the most story out of the
From
Software games.
Yeah.
But really, like, the Armor Core games and Bloodborne and Dark Souls all have these super huge convoluted stories, and they set that aside so that if people want the story, you have to actively go get it.
Right. Yeah.
Which I appreciate, because every time there's a cutscene in that game that's more than like 4 seconds long, it's like, I'm gonna have to watch this cutscene 10 times. I want to skip it. Like, I'm gonna watch it the first time, and that's it. I only ever want to watch it once.
There's definitely more, like, I feel like there's definitely more dialogue in Elden Ring than there is like in other Souls games.
Correct.
At least for me.
There's almost no dialogue in the other games.
I haven't
like
played,
a
I've
boss
only
made
watched, but I know
monologue.
Yeah, there's some monologuing. That's fair.
But like,
tarnished. Let me say some words at your dead.
And then Rook proceeds to skip.
Yep.
I don't understand biblical syntax.
What was the other one? I think I still think is it Happy Souls? Is that what it's called?
Happy Souls.
You've seen that, right?
I think it's yeah.
Oh, see it, right? I got boss weapons. Just come visit me right down the road. That's it. That's the whole dialogue. And then you're just like, what happened to that bird guy we met like a month ago? I thought he said he was just down the road. It's like, oh yeah, you gotta play half the game first.
Yeah.
FromSoft's game bosses almost never say anything. Elden Ring had them way, way more talkative. And my problem with that is there's two issues that I have. And don't take this as criticism specifically for these games. These are just two types of things that I dislike. One is when the boss monologues at you and you have no recourse, because at that point it doesn't matter. So when he just starts talking about like, oh, I'm the Flamebringer, Dragon Arm, bear witness, burn everything. It's just like, shut up and let me fight you. Like, I don't care. Nothing you're saying to me matters because I can't interact with it. And then there's the other side of it where in Baldur's Gate, it's like I'm trying to sneak up on a guy. I've got the bow drawn and I fire the arrow and it's like, cutscene. Hello. And you see the arrow like stick him in the cheek and he's like, we should discuss what's going on. It's like, I've already shot the arrow. Skip the cutscene, please. Like, I don't need this. I don't need to talk. I don't need any new information. I just want to shoot you in the face. So like, those two things bother me a lot when it's like forced dialogue. In fight scenes. And Baldur's Gate 3 is actually pretty good in most situations about like getting the jump on people, but there are a few times when they're like, no, this is important, you have to have this talking point. And so I'm not fully opposed to it, but I dislike it. I dislike when that happens.
Stop trying to do the Skyrim thing of being a sneak archer and just shooting everyone who tries to talk to you.
Yeah. It's very much.
I love that.
Yeah, it's very much one of those. Build. Right. It's like old school Dark Souls. It's like, okay, there's a dragon up on that hill. I don't want to fight him, but if I stand way over here and just like lob arrows, eventually he'll die. And the dragon's just like, there's nobody here. It's probably fine. Ooh, I'm running out of hit points. Probably fine. But yeah, like it's one of those things. This is why I could not stand the KOTOR games too, because KOTOR didn't have the kind of release options of just like, no, I don't want to follow this storyline. They made you follow a lot of the storylines, and I think they've gotten better. And now Baldur's Gate is kind of pretty good about it because you can eventually just always be like, nope, don't wanna, and that's great. There's this thing, especially with Skyrim and with Baldur's Gate, that is, there's tons and tons of options and different ways to play the game so long as you play it the way we want. And that's not really something you can get away from, is kind of the thing, without just completely bypassing the narrative. So
yep. While mods exist.
Yeah. So it's not something that I can say that makes me upset, but for the most part, it's not an issue. It's not an issue because really, if I'm not having fun with a game to the point where I just want to break it, I probably just shouldn't be playing that game. Like, it might just not be a game you enjoy playing.
I will say, when you're talking about like the whole cutscene thing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there are a few moments in Divinity Original Sin. Divinity Original Sin didn't have cutscenes, but there will be moments where if you get within a range of a certain NPC, a forced dialogue thing will happen.
Yeah.
And I know that happened to us a few times while we're trying to bypass them.
Yeah, and when I played Original Sin, I was playing with people that had already played it before, so I got none of the story because we would start it up, and they would just like skip. Okay, we're walking over here. It's just like, oh, all right.
Same. Yeah.
So,
that was my experience as well. It really, as somebody who plays games like I read novels.
Yeah.
And is highly invested in the story, like that killed it for me. That is actually very specifically the reason why I have a very hard time playing games with people, is because basically every time I have ever played a game with other people, I lose the most important part of the game experience.
Right.
Because they just take it away from me.
Yeah, and I think there's...
I also played with someone for Divinity Original Sin. However, I definitely feel like I had a better experience because my friend who had played it a few times basically was like, alright, these are some paths we can take. Which one sounds cool to you? And we'll go with your decision. And so, like, he would give me, like, we could go this route. Not really telling me anything what's going on. Or this route, or this route. Like, okay.
Yep.
Let's do this one. This seems fun.
Look at you with thoughtful friends.
And that was my big thing with
Sorry.
with like Final Fantasy, playing Final Fantasy 14, sorry. Is very much like that game is so based around the narrative that the MMO part of the game is almost separate. So it's an RPG with MMO elements every 2 levels. And so I've had a lot of people that have started playing it just say that, like, I don't want to hold you guys back. It's like, I've beaten this game twice. You just enjoy the game and we'll be around. And I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. And this is the same thing with Baldur's Gate. Part of the thing about me not wanting the story doesn't mean I'm annoyed by the story. It means I just don't care. I don't care about it. And so if other people want to stay and enjoy the story, that's fine. That means I have to wait. And I'm okay with that too. But I know a lot of people
I'm sure
aren't.
There's stuff you can do in the camp.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that do feel like, oh, I'm slowing you down or I'm taking up your time. And that's part of the means of multiplayer games in general. Whereas like things with Helldivers, there's zero story. It's just there is some you can like pick up notepads and read things, and a lot of it's just kind of ambient information and kind of gaffes and goofs, and so those are just very fast, just slam and hit play games, and it's fun, and it's fun and it's chaotic. Versus something like Elden Ring, if somebody wants to sit and watch all the cutscenes and do stuff, that's fine. But once again, like, you only ever really want to do that once. And so with Divinity, it's like, if the game isn't compelling enough for you to watch something twice, then it needs to be able to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And sometimes that doesn't happen. So
I do agree with that.
I've always had a problem with mixing stories and multiplayer. Yeah, it needs to be separate enough that you can avoid it. And I think that was probably the reason Baldur's Gate 3 did such a good job, because you have to opt into joining someone's story. So if you were like looking at your menus and stuff, you didn't just get pulled into a cutscene. So I've only seen one situation for Baldur's Gate where the NPC surrender once a fight started. Interesting. Heavy Souls makes me think of the Soul games that happened in McDonald's. No. They're definitely different. Heavy story drama unfolding before us, and here's Rook in the corner eating popcorn first time. Yeah. there's a lot of that in like Final Fantasy, because like you'll get to a raid boss, and you'll see one person with the little tiny like, I'm watching a cutscene flag above their head, and everyone's like, everyone be cool and wait. Somebody's experiencing it for the first time. And like I've seen people, that'll be happening, and someone will rush in to fight the boss, and people will just back up and be like, no fucker, you're gonna wait, and they'll just get murdered by the boss. It's just like, yeah, no, you wait and you give this person their time. And so the Final Fantasy XIV community is like nothing else I've ever seen. They've done a great job. of fostering a good community there. Whereas like with the WoW community, it's like if you show up to a raid or a boss fight without the achievements for it and or the gear that says you've already beaten this, like people will yell at you, cuss at you, and kick you out of the group. Like, I've had that happen several times.
Wow.
Yeah, it's toxic as fuck. All right, I think I'm done with this one.
Cool. I'm actually happy with this pose.
It's pretty good.
I was concerned about it for a while.
No, I do think Baldur's Gate has done the best job of that. What was the other one I was thinking about? Neo, which I hate to trash on the game, Corvus. Neo 2's cutscenes
came back.
Oh, okay.
To hear you say this.
Neo 2 is probably like the most egregious of those, because it's just like it does, because you're technically, I think you're playing the host's game when you play Neo 2. I think you get.
So you.
It's a weird system. They have a really weird system of like.
Quick question:
Mm-hmm.
Are you referring to expeditions or being summoned in?
I don't know.
Because there are two things. So you can do expeditions with like, I think 4 people at most.
Is there a version that only has 3 people?
I think there is, and that's when you have a host summoning people in.
Yeah, so that's what we did. So we went through the storyline that way, and the problem with that is that not only did we have to, and this is the way old Dark Souls games worked too, which was really frustrating, is it only gave credit for the first person, the host, and so other people then had to host and pull you in, and so you had to go through the game 3 times start to finish, and it's just like, please let us share content. And like Elden Ring was bad about that too, but it had less content, like forced cutscene content, whereas Neo had a lot. And so we go
Neo
through.
2 is definitely not great for multiplayer.
It's not.
However, their newest
It's a really cool game. It's a really cool game, but
called Rise of the Ronin, but it's only for like PC, PlayStation 5, and the new Xbox Series, whatever.
Okay.
And it is a 4-person. You can have up to 4 people as multiplayer in that.
Nice.
But I don't know how it works. So. And it's like, it's also like a historical fiction game.
Did you ever watch, I really think you would enjoy Kingdom? I think it's Kingdom.
The Korean zombie apocalypse?
Yeah.
Yes, I think I watched up to season 2. I haven't finished past season 2.
I think season 3 isn't out yet because it got delayed by COVID, and then now it's just kind of.
Yeah.
It might be out now, actually. I'll have to look. I think you would enjoy that.
I got really invested into it. I got really invested in hating the opposing faction.
Yeah, they're awful. They're just horrible people.
It's like, oh, let's have all these women here and just basically use them as bait.
Oof.
It's a good series.
Which was all orchestrated by the Queen.
Yep.
Sorry, spoilers.
I think it's very apparent that the Queen is hyper evil very early on, so I don't know if that's supposed to be much spoilers.
My brain is immediately like, Queen Victoria?
Druid, you should probably watch that too. I think it's a good political, like political intrigue
Mixed with zombie apocalypse.
mixed with zombie apocalypse, which I appreciate. It's funny because like
I also like their zombies too.
yeah, they're good zombies. Jump Rope was watching that when I worked at the restaurant. And I would come home and be like, "The fuck are you watching? What is this?" And then after I watched like 3 or 4 episodes, I'm like, "All right, I gotta start this over and watch it from the beginning."
Yeah. I will say as a person who doesn't like horror movies or shows, I like this one, but it still also like makes me a bit jumpy. It's like,
oh yeah,
I need to pause and take a breather. Because I think the scene that got me the worst is like one of the earlier episodes where someone's underneath the house.
Oh yeah, that one's super freaky.
And it's just like, oh god,
stop it! Stop being weird. That is such a great example of introduction storytelling. So here's my problem with a lot of new age zombie movies is that they try to enact that zombies don't exist, right? So they're like, nobody understands what's going on, and then zombies exist. So in every zombie movie they have, essentially, zombies don't exist until the zombie outbreak happens. And I think that is always kind of it's weird. It's weird to think of it like that, because then the audience is supposed to understand the rules of the zombies, and then it feels lazy to have to find out and explain the rules to the characters in the show. Whereas with this one, it feels right because it's feudal Korea, I think, right?
Yep.
And when they see
Joseon Dynasty,
when they see the first zombies, they're just like, these people are sick. Something's wrong with them. Something's making them go kind of feral, and they don't try to incorporate that they're zombies, and I appreciate that.
And part of it that I like is that there are people who know about them beforehand. Before like we see the story, there are people who know what's going on and have not said anything.
Yeah. And I think another good example of a one where they kind of do the opposite is the one with Dave. Is it Dave Bautista, the guy that played Drax? Is that his name? These people get hired to like break into Las Vegas, which is surrounded by zombies.
Oh, it's like what? Army of the Dead? Or...
Yeah, Army of the Dead. It's a bad movie, but it's fun. It's fun to watch.
Is it like Army of Darkness bad movie? Because I would totally watch that if it's like Army of Darkness. No,
it's not. It's not really. It's kind of cheesy, but it's not really cheesy. It's just like, it's stupid, but it's fun to watch. But one of the things of like, there's a whole bunch of like YouTubers and TikTokers that think they're like badass zombie killers. Like that's something that spawns after the zombie apocalypse happens. Is people like becoming influencers by going out and killing zombies. And I just think that's the funniest shit. Like that makes sense, right? Like that's no one has to explain like, oh, we'll see zombies if you shoot them in the head. It's like everybody in the universe already gets that, and I appreciate that kind of like. That's the opposite side of what I think should be more expected.
Most things die when shot in heads.
Yeah.
So
I think Shaun of the Dead did a really good job too, because it's like everybody knows what's going on except for Shaun because he's an idiot. Like that's the important part. So there are really good ways to do it, and then there's bad ways to do it. And I think those are some pretty good examples of it, of good ways to do it. I remember watching Army of the Dead. I wanted to be the start of the whole zombie cinematic universe. Yeah, I think they made a second one that was like in the same universe, and it didn't go well, and then they just gave up. But I don't know.
Sad.
Yeah. I'm gonna roll this dice, and then I'm gonna go get some more water and use the restroom. So we're gonna draw a fluffy but mean-looking bugbear mercenary wearing plate mail with a great sword. And I will be right back. And everybody hang tight.
I really want to explain how the zombies work to you, Jared, now.
Go for it.
Alright, if anyone doesn't want to know this, pause for like 3 minutes. So, when the zombies work in Kingdom is, they started when this person was sick. They were like a noble, and their spouse did not want them to die, and so they had this doctor find a medicinal plant to cure them, to extend their life.
Right.
They found it, but the cost of extending their life basically zombified them.
Okay. And then it basically becomes a zombie outbreak from there.
So, yes and no. So,
Okay, so he doesn't automatically become contagious.
yeah, so the first one was a woman, and the guy, when he realized what happened, had her buried in the ground
Oh,
just to keep her from getting out.
right.
And
But while
then,
she's still alive, basically.
yeah, as a zombie. This other guy, the evil left minister or whatever he is,
Mm-hmm.
does this to the king to control him,
Yep.
and
Okay.
the king gets loose and bites some people.
Gotcha. Okay.
But it really doesn't spread until they're off in the mountains somewhere, and these bodies who were bitten were taken back to be examined by the old doctor.
Uh-huh.
People are starving, and this one kind of, he's like the lowest rung of Korean society. Like he's like almost an untouchable type of figure.
Okay.
Basically chopped up some bodies to feed the poor people because everyone was starving, and he passed it off as deer meat.
Ooh.
He didn't know any better.
Yep.
But that caused it to spread to other people, and then it's just this massive horde coming from the north down of zombies.
Gotcha.
It's intense.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And then there's the whole political intrigue aspect of this, which is like not even really a B plot or A plot. They're like simultaneously running together. And so it's like, oh god.
So then the queen you guys said who is very clearly evil is, I assume, then manipulating things behind the scenes, using the situation to grab power.
Yes. So she was the second or third wife of the zombie king.
Uh-huh.
The king's son was was starting a rebellion to kick out the queen and her father, who was the minister.
Uh-huh.
Because he was like, yeah, no, you two are up to no good. And so they basically get him
I've been
for
muted
treason.
this whole time. Dang it.
That's
why, bro.
But yeah, it's a crazy. There's a few twists, and it's like, oh god.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, Oliver. I ran an ad just to let people know that I was AFK.
I also threw in a suggestion.
Oh, you did? Okay, let me see what this is here.
But Elliot.
What?
A Shisk.
I don't see this. Oh, there it is. Okay, that was weird. Is the Shisk the weird sand people?
I wouldn't really call them sand people.
They're the porcupine people,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, then I have no idea what we're talking about.
You know, some pictures. Even
Second
if
edition,
it's not.
yeah. Second edition
being drawn.
Pathfinder. They're humanoid with dark skin and porcupine quills. Subterranean dwellers in the Mwangi Expanse.
Gotcha.
They also have fangs.
What the hell am I thinking of then?
Sand people. I don't know.
Star Wars?
know.
This is Star Wars.
Tusken Raiders? Which is just straight up a donkey sound. Just, it's a donkey bray.
Yeah. There's a race that's essentially what General Grievous is. But for Pathfinder.
Oh, he was like a bat person.
Kind of, yeah. Like there's the thing I'm thinking of is let me just look it up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Kashtha is what I'm thinking of.
Are you thinking the Kashriki, the little rhino people?
Nope.
Nope.
Thinking of these guys. They're from Starfinder. That's why it's missing. But they're also they're also in one of the advanced books.
Oh.
Of course, Starfinder would pick up a General Grievous species.
Let me see what they're called in the Pathfinder book. I think it's the same thing.
I was gonna say, there's like the Lamashin. They're four-armed people. There's also witch weirds, who are also.
This is the one from Pathfinder. This is the one I was thinking of. I think it's. God, I love that art. It's so good.
Oh.
I am not familiar with them at all. That's very cool.
Do. The Kasatha. Kashatha.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Lamashins are not the four-armed people, but yeah.
Hunters and raiders in the wastelands of the clannish four-armed Kashatha Guard in their territories by lightning-fast raids. They're essentially sand people.
Yes. Let's hope.
Hey, I'm new here. Welcome in.
Raphael, Anakin.
Yeah. Welcome in, Sat. How's it going? My computer did a funny prank where it closed all my tabs and signed me out of everything. Thanks for that. Control-Shift-T, my friends. Control-Shift-T. Learn it, memorize it, do it.
Secretary birds have thumbs, Corvus.
No, birds don't have thumbs. Except for owls. Really, they just have two pinkies.
Do you mean like how many toes do they have on their feet?
Yeah, are they only three-toed?
I think 4.
That's a harpy eagle.
Aren't
I'm
they
having a hard
from
time
their barsoom?
finding proof in my reference images.
Elliot, I'm not sure what you're talking about. Are they? Is there a like equivalent for them? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, they have 4 claws.
Okay.
3 in the front, 1 in the back.
Okay.
A Sagittarius bird.
What does that mean? Sagittarius bird?
Yeah, so Secretary Bird is what we call them in English, but like in Arabic, their name derives from the astrological sign of Sagittarius, the archer.
Gotcha.
Too bad. I think Archer Bird is cooler than
Secretary?
Secretary Bird.
The non sequitur bird.
Calling it a Secretary Bird because of the eyelashes and eye makeup feels really derogatory to me.
I don't think that's. Maybe that's
I
where
know,
that comes
but
from.
like, I know. I'm aware, right? It just. It's
Too many
still,
coincidences?
it's yeah. It still feels off.
I would not put that past Darwin, you know.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
We're going to call
Although
this one after my mother. It's like, oh, God. Here we go.
My dude.
Yeah. Maybe with the new Starfinder 2 ebook, I'll brush up on that stuff. Then I could be at another chain to my Maester link belt.
The lore librarian.
Because I got D&D, Pathfinder, Vampire the Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse.
You got Call of Cthulhu in there?
Hell no.
That's too bad.
I'm sorry.
It's fine.
I'm not a
I'm not that much
fan
of a nerd.
Lovecraftian stuff.
Sorry,
But for the
Akaton
real
and
horror.
Castrovel aren't my strong suits for Pathfinder lore. I have no idea what those words mean, so me neither.
I do know those are planets
Okay.
in the Pathfinder Starfinder universe.
Carlinus who came along and made the Latin naming system so people understood what they mean now. That's fair, yeah. There's a lot of non not uniform.
Non-standardized?
Standardized, yeah. Non-standardized science garbage for a long time.
Yeah.
I was supposed to make this guy look really fluffy. I don't know if I've achieved that yet.
He looks very unamused.
Yeah. Maybe I need to give him more of a quaff.
Weirdly enough, I'm getting like, because of all the sci-fi talk, it's like, oh yeah, this guy is totally on the Coruscant Council. Senate.
Where is Senator Amidala? What do you mean she's been murdered by...
He's off canoodling with her boyfriend.
The thing I love about the Star Wars universe is there are no cameras. Like,
I know, right?
There are droids everywhere. Like, in every single room, but none of them have cameras. And
That we know of.
well, I mean, if there was, like, you wouldn't be able to get away with anything because everything in that universe is all about like secrecy and talking to people. But it's like we can't get away from our cell phones. Period. Right? Like, if you have a cell phone, the government can look in your house. Like, that's the fear. But in a world where everybody is a cell phone, like some people even have shit in their bodies, like cameras and voice recordings just don't happen.
The thing that's weirdest to me is we know that R2 does have a camera, but like as far as I can tell, their data storage technology is shit.
Right? And like, so they send out probes to like find people on planets, like the little drones, but they don't send back footage. They just like call people and be like, hey, I found him. Like, they're not cameras. They're just people.
I feel like that may be a product of when it was first created.
I think,
because,
so.
And they just kept up with it.
It's the same thing with like, this was more so in like the early 2000s. So many plots and movies, like X-Men, the entire first X-Men movies when they came out, the entire plots could be destroyed if one person owned a cell phone. And that was at a time when cell phones existed, like, and were prevalent. But
most people had cell phones.
And most people had them. And so it's being less of an issue now, because people are kind of more used to writing about it. But a lot of source material from like the 80s and 90s that got turned into movies in the 2000s basically had to issue that cell phones existed. And yeah, I think you're right. Like being able to send video footage and store video footage is just not something that the original Star Wars had, and so they've continued that forward, and it's not a thing. It's just not a thing, and I think that's really interesting.
Yeah.
Or even in a hyper-fascist society that the Empire becomes, even they think personal space is a
Yeah.
bridge too far.
Senator Palpatine is like, whoa, that's an invasion of privacy. Get out of here. That was a horrible Senator Palpatine impression, but
If I did that to my people, they would have the right to do it to me. I can't allow that.
did you guys?
Maybe that's why they never did it, because
I was.
Are you fucking kidding me? Like Palpatine, 1000% does stuff that he does not allow anybody else to do. Like cloning experiments to try to figure out
true,
how he can make a clone with enough force to insert his own soul into, so he can live for eternity, which is just I don't care much for that storyline.
I mean, the Twi'leks are notoriously slaved as a population.
Yes, and sold into slavery by their senator before the Empire.
Mm-hmm. It's a big universe and it's fucked up.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean,
It's
I get
horrible.
why
But personal
you
space.
have groups who don't want to be part of the Senate. It's like,
Oh yeah,
I want to be part of that system.
it's one of those
Me
things
neither.
where like Palpatine isn't wrong. He's just an asshole. Like,
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
He's not wrong, but he's way out of line.
yeah, maybe the Jedi shouldn't be the main peacekeeping force for the universe. It's like, yeah, we should probably talk about that.
Yeah.
Maybe we shouldn't have religion be the guiding light.
Yeah, it's the thing about the Jedi and the Sith that's very funny to me, and one of the reasons why I like, or that I'm way more interested in all of the other types of Force users, is that basically the Jedi cannot exist without the Sith. Like, they automatically make the Sith because of their weird
Yeah,
dogmas, and the Sith do not exist with unless the Jedi exist to create them.
yeah.
So,
As shitty as the new movies were, like, they're all right. They're basically remakes of the old ones, which is kind of like,
Yeah.
that's it bad. The stuff coming out of the Star Wars universe is still great. Like the Ahsoka, I think, is going to be really, really cool coming for the second season, because I think they're going to talk more about that. They're going to talk about like the origins of the Sith and the Jedi.
The Night Sisters, like whenever they have come up in the animated stuff, I've always been like, now this is some Force user shit that I can get behind.
Yeah.
This
Imagine
is
how much. I remember there being a big argument when the Force Unleashed came out, because they're like, whoa, the Force is way too powerful with the main character. I'm like, yes, it's a video game. It's the main character. Like, but it's not It's not canonical now. And it's like, who cares? Like, not everything has to be connected. Chill out. It's totally fine. Imagine how much internet scrubbing Men in Black would have to do to hide the recording tech has grown. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yep.
Exactly. And AI is only going to make that more complicated. More and more complicated.
Well, see,
Yes, we can make the CIA's job more difficult. Yes.
that's the reason that the government confirmed that there were aliens.
Shit, we can't hide
Because
this
they couldn't
anymore.
hide it anymore.
Yep. Did you see? When we were talking about that, I remember John Oliver doing something about what we were talking about. It made me think of the latest Last Week Tonight, where he basically offered,
Clarence.
Yeah, Clarence Thomas. He's like, if you retire right now, I will personally pay you $1 million a year for the rest of your life. He's like, this is totally legal, and I can do this. It's like, huh. Oh, politics are weird.
And not
and
even just
stupid.
that, offered a big, massive, like,
Yeah,
top
bottom
of the line RV.
Yeah. It's super strange.
Which is the oldest boomer thing I've ever heard. Like, seen people do.
Right. How privileged are you to have a house that you can buy, not just another house, but a car that is a house, so you can go places with your house.
That has, like, a full bedroom, basically a full bath, and full fridge.
That thing is more decked out than my house is. Like,
Yep.
Oh, God. It probably has its own, like, Skylink built in.
Can almost guarantee it.
I think I missed something with this guy. You're supposed to be a fuzzy furbolg? Oops.
A fuzzy bugbear. That's like
Oh,
mean
he's
and cute at the same time.
Yeah, he's a great sword. I hate these double. How do I draw somebody mean and cute at the same time? Like, is Lilo or Stitch from Lilo and Stitch mean and cute at the same time? Because I think he's just always cute.
He is decidedly vicious and cute. Cats are vicious and cute.
So how do
Hedgehogs.
I make this guy cuter and still retain the just draw a cat? Okay, yeah, I guess so. How do I make him cuter? I struggle with this so much.
Give him bigger eyes and smaller nose.
Just needs to be fluffier.
It's so fluffy.
So fluffy. Give him big curly hair. I figured he'd just have lots of volume when I suggested it. I figured he'd just have lots of volume when I suggested it. Like, fatter? Like, you want him to be chunkier? Maybe I could do that.
Bugbears are lazy, so... Supposedly.
Let him be fat.
Let him be fat.
Let him eat cake.
Not everything we draw has to be super sexy.
I like drawing
I
Yeah,
say.
Druid.
With a fucking bird with a 12-pack. Okay, I can maybe go Pudger. Maybe if I change his lips a little bit. Just make him really pouty.
Oh, I think they were meaning like volume, like in hair, like there's have like static electricity.
Okay, I could try that. More just like disheveled and all over the place.
Yep. Think Persian cat.
Gotcha. Okay, I can do that. I
I was like, what's a really kind of cute but also kind of pissed off looking cat? Persians.
More big, yeah. Maximum poof. Yeah, we can do that. Okay. I think that works. That works.
Inflated hair. Oh.
Yeah, the double negatives always, or maybe not double negatives, but like contradictive statements always kind of screw me up. And not that like, not that they're bad.
Actually really sweet.
Yeah, it's like, well, which do you want me to show? Do you want me to show that they're sweet, or do you want me to show that they're mean?
This isn't the Council of Nicaea. We're not trying to describe the Holy Trinity here. Give me something I can work with.
Visual descriptors.
That was a joke specifically for Corvus.
I got it. Bastard. I will say one way I just kind of thought of maybe of like doing that would be like they physically, like facially, they look mean, but like I don't know, maybe they have like a teddy bear stuffed in their belt.
Right. So that would work. That would 100%. That would work, right? Like, there's a guiding principle of design that I try to stick to. That's like, guns. Don't draw it with a gun. Like, how can you show off that something is dangerous or tough without just giving it a gun, because
without
that's
having it pointing a barrel at the camera.
right. Like, and a big thing is with that is like when you're designing something and people are like, oh, I want it to look badass and great, they just put a gun on a car or they put a gun on a robot, and it's like it's the laziest way to do that.
Yeah, that's
also like rule number 1 of improv: don't bring a gun.
Right? Yeah. Well, you've brought a loaded gun to your tax attorney. What now? So that's something. Go ahead.
I have not thought about putting a gun on a car since 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Something you thought of?
Everybody does. Like, it's just how do I make this look cool? Oh, what's it got guns on it? Guns are cool. How do you make this guy look like a badass? Give him a cigar or give him a cigarette. That was another one. It really is just like accessories can't make the design. Like, the design should be. So when you say like I want this guy to look badass, like I'm gonna try to make him a little more stoic. I'm gonna give him a little more gruff. And then I can start looking at like, you know, what kind of armor does he have and stuff like that. Which was one of the reasons when I started this channel, I was like, every time I draw a skull, I'm gonna do push-ups. Because that was my go-to, like, I need to fill space and I want it to look badass, I'm going to put a skull on it. Like, it was a crutch. It's a crutch. That's the way to look at it. So, the teddy bear is a crutch. Like, why does this guy have a teddy bear unless it's part of his character?
For any reason.
So, it would work. It would work, but it's a crutch versus just better design. So, I think what we come up with is a much better idea. Like, staticky, kind of like hyper floof. Will give us that kind of like weird poof that we're looking for without having to result to teddy
So I
bears.
feel like what you said, Wayne Reynolds just throws out the window. It's like, I'm just going to add everything here.
Yeah, so I think what Wayne Reynolds does, and something that I can show you like comparatively that I want to deal with, this is dead space. The shoulder's dead space. This is dead space. It just is. And I don't like that. And so, like, my instinct would be, like, we'll just put a shit ton of filigree in here, and then we'll do this and that, and like, he's really good at that. He's really good at filling his space, and I'm not yet. And a lot of that is partially texture. Like, I could just start adding and rendering this armor plate until it looks really cool. But that just takes time, so I generally don't do it on here. But, like, that's what he's great at. He's great at filling his negative space and making it like fit into the world by just filling shit up. So
and
everything.
Mm-hmm.
It is everything, but like part of the secret to it as well, I think, is that when Wayne Reynolds does it, he's like, it is filling space with objects, and it does definitely get really busy, but the reason it works for him is because he manages to fill things in a way that makes it look like background.
Yeah.
It all becomes kind of one solid tone.
It's
right?
like the...
it fills space without necessarily drawing your eye.
Yeah, it's like the
Doesn't
cottagecore
compete
stuff.
for attention. Yeah.
Like, I can't even do a photographic... Well, I can't talk today. Photo shoot. I couldn't take a picture of cottagecore stuff because my brain just doesn't do that. like I struggle to know what to fill space with, even in like the real world. So it's like setting up. I think a good example. I can actually show you a really good example of that is, let me go to OBS here, and just turn off Aggie for a second. Like this is the background I made for a whole bunch of stuff. I originally made it for a video so I could draw in the book digitally. But like this is still very clean. And like there's not a lot there. That's as close as I can
you're
get.
like describing cottagecore is more like quote unquote gremlin core.
Yeah. Like
where it's
just
everything.
I'm not good at making cozy. I'm just not good at making cozy. I feel cluttered and like choked, so I tend to not do that. And that's a big problem with my line art.
Minimalist.
Yeah, I am. I'm more of a minimalist when it comes to things.
Same.
And so like when it comes to these lines, like I sometimes get overcrowded with my lines, and I just like it's too much, and I hate it. And some of my older works, I really forced myself to lean into it and keep them. And then I started discovering, like, I can make these horrible, sketchy lines and then go back in and clean them up. And that's kind of where I'm at now, is like trying to figure that out. So, but Wayne Reynolds has a very good system for it. And part of it is, like, right now I'm drawing this, and my final piece, if I was actually going to like continue this, my thickest line would be this, or maybe this, right? Like, it's 5 times the fidelity you can get, and that's what Wayne Reynolds does. He does very, very loose sketch lines, and then he comes back in and has this really high fidelity, like, texturing that I just don't have that yet. Yeah. And I'm gonna start working on that.
I almost think some of his earlier stuff started out earlier, meaning like, I don't know, 10 years ago. Start out as just straight up as paintings they did and then had scanned.
Yeah.
But someone just like feel like they are straight up paintings.
I would not be surprised.
Yep. I wanted to take something inherently dangerous and add something to soften them. Oh, this guy? Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, that could be fun.
People love
Maximum Floof's got to be an NPC name.
characters that look one way, but personality-wise are totally the opposite, and trying to convey that in a design is, as we discussed,
What is
ad
that?
nauseum.
Yeah, isn't that like the definition of avant-garde?
I don't know, because avant-garde kind of changes with the times.
Sure. Or juxtaposition, I guess. Maybe it's juxtaposition.
Yeah,
that's-
juxtaposed. Like how, say, Chinese dragons look really terrifying, but in reality are supposed to be very kind and wise and gentle.
If you were really that powerful, you wouldn't have to prove it to everybody.
Exactly. Unlike our dragons who were
Just dicks.
yep, breathing poison on everything, destroying crops.
I always liked that concept, though, of just like, depending on how the culture treats the dragons, kind of determines their attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna hunt me?
Same.
Cool. I'm just gonna eat everybody. Versus like a culture that respects the dragons. The dragons are like, yeah, we're cool. I don't care. I'm immortal. I don't need shit. What do you want? Okay, I think I'm about done with this guy.
I'm struggling with how much, or with the jewelry that I'm supposed to be putting on this guy. Forgotten most of the specifics.
I think it just said bangles.
Yeah, decked out in bangles.
I want them to jingle when they fly.
You just hear a crashing cymbal of bangles as a secretary avian bird just smashes Yanti's head in.
Definitely need to. I'm gonna put bangles all over these wrists like I should. Probably should also put them around the ankles. Cause them legs.
Weird. Oh, interesting. So the Latin word, Saccharinier?
Sagittarius?
No, Saccharinier
Oh,
means to distinguish or to be set apart, or having been apart, like eventually conveying like confidentiality and secrets. So a secretary is someone who is employed to handle records and letters. Like that's where the term comes from. Which I never thought of. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
though
I had never thought of that
Keep
either.
my secrets. You're my secretary now.
the secretary bird's scientific name is Sagittarius serpentinus, or serpentarius.
That doesn't make any damn sense then.
Yeah, because Victorians named it wrong.
Let me move the bird.
What I was trying to get at earlier.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's always the Victorians' fault.
Did they name it wrong because they misunderstood it, or did they name it wrong because they named it whatever the hell they wanted?
I think they just misunderstood it.
Okay. Oh, I don't know when the music stopped playing. Sorry, everybody. It's been a while, I bet. Boom, 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 boom. Why is OBS over here? Get out of here. Should have filmed with my players return to the table. Yeah. Yeah. Let me know what they think. I kind of want to make him look more frazzled though. What time is it? 1:38. Let's do let's do it. Case in point. Someone pull me up some Wayne Reynolds bugbears.
Bugbears?
Yeah. What did I say?
I don't know. I didn't hear.
Maybe he hasn't drawn any bugbears. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a bugbear in a like a scene painting.
Okay, so I looked into it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
In Arabic, the bird is referred to as sek at atir.
Okay.
And when English people heard it, they heard secretary.
Got it. I assumed the bird was very secretive or something, but nope, they just dumb.
Yeah, which the Arabic name means hunter bird.
Hunter bird, interesting.
Because there was this kind of like fake story I was reading. It's like English people gave it to him because it looked like secretaries in the 1800s. Like, yeah, no, I don't believe that one bit.
Yeah, that sounds like bullshit.
Yep. I have a distinct smell of bullshit here. Which, if anything, that was probably published in a Victorian newspaper because they were always full of bullshit.
Yeah.
Damn it,
Like-
Wayne! Why are you so good?
What did Wayne do again?
Everything. Everything that's awesome forever.
Everything he's ever painted and put on the internet is amazing, and I'm jealous.
I just got
What are you looking at?
Everything.
I think I just got a confirmation of he did a Kickstarter a little while, like maybe a year ago, and I think it's just now getting published. And I'm super excited for that. Posture check. Thank you, Alvin.
Yeah. Yeah, Corvus, I literally, like, I don't know the name of the painting that I'm thinking of that's got a bugbear in it, so I just Googled Wayne Reynolds art, and I'm just scrolling through everything that Google pulled up, and I'm angry and jealous.
Not Wayne Reynolds bugbear?
I tried that, and didn't bring anything specific up.
All right. This definitely looks like he got struck by lightning.
Wayne's World.
Wayne's World, Wayne's World, party time, excellent. Freaking love Wayne's World.
I mean, me and Rick found out that he did art for Warhammer 40k a couple years back. I was like, very surprising.
That doesn't really surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, like, as much as people shit on Games Workshop, like
They do.
they've been around forever and they make a lot of stuff.
And they've hired a lot of artists.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is the bugbear you're talking about the one with the the shield with hands on it?
I thought that was an orc.
I don't think so.
It was a bit of a mess, but super fun. Nice. Were you DMing Elvin here, or were you playing? I can't remember. Are we playing tomorrow? Are people around?
I think so.
Okay.
I haven't posted anything about it yet. I'll ask.
Are we still trying to get out of the demon hole?
Yeah. You played 3 characters and fucked around a lot, so.
Now we have to find out. Sorry. Not really.
I mean, I kept trying to tell you that like the tree man being there is kind of just a technicality. I don't need to roll anything for him. he's gonna do the thing that's gonna take him as much time as you want, and it's done. Like he's borderline NPC at this point. But
the thing that he's doing is kind of the important thing
that nobody else wants to do. so I think I don't know. I think what you mean is like it's the time sensitive part, right?
Yeah. So anyway, it doesn't really matter. We didn't get through as much as I had expected to, but that's like it's not a problem. That is basically being a GM. That's always going to happen basically. Yeah. So we should get the next bit tomorrow.
Playing in a one-shot wedding. Ooh, interesting. That sounds fun.
That's the one I was talking about, Druid.
Oh yeah.
That's not the one I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. But I couldn't find the one I was thinking about, so maybe it wasn't Ryan Reynolds who painted it.
Roll 20, and it was fun. That's good. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
You said it was like a bugbear scene?
I think I know what you're talking about. I think it's on the Villain Codex book. I think it is the cover of the Villain Codex. Or is it a monster codec? I think it's villains.
Villain has like a minotaur on it.
Then it's not that one.
I mean, it is a big scene. It's.
Let me just go get my book. Let me check.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't find it, and then I am past caring at this point. I just want to finish up this bird.
But the only other like bugbear scene that's actually coming to my mind.
Monster codec. Big old bugbear picking his teeth. That's the one I was thinking of. It was the monster codec. I'm pretty sure that's Wayne Reynolds.
Oh yeah, that's definitely Wayne Reynolds. I think he's taken a bit of a step back from Pathfinder stuff. Like I know he does the classes, like all the iconics for the different classes, but like He hasn't been doing a lot of the creature art.
Yeah, I think they've been getting new artists. They've definitely got a new artist designing the new dragons, right? And
Yeah.
And they've definitely got new artists for the Hangqian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because I think they're really trying to focus on using actual Asian people as a resource to build out their Asian-like cultures.
That's cool. That's good on them.
So I would not be surprised if they had and Wayne had agreed to basically be on the back burner for the recent stuff that's happening.
We'll say he may have just had other projects to do.
Yeah. I mean, the stuff that he paints is got to be in demand, right? Because it's very cool. I don't think he is like fired or out of work or anything. I think that he's just doing other stuff.
I feel like this is an argument of like, did Wayne Reynolds die?
No.
Does sound that way, doesn't it? All right, that's enough. I'm done.
Okay.
With this burb.
I like the Sphinx that he did.
How many more drawings do you think you got in you?
I got one more in me for sure.
Okay, well, I can do a fast sketch then.
Sure. Oh, that's super cool.
Natural one.
Natural one. A skeleton meets No Face from Spirited Away. Maybe a slime or ooze.
I
So
can
it's
do that.
It's just a silhouette, it sounds like. Skeletal silhouette.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
I can do that fast.
An Oozadin.
Oozedillion.
Oozedillion.
An Oozedin is an Ooze Paladin.
Yeah. Let's see how the cat video's doing. If you haven't left a comment on the new short, please go do so. They all matter. 8,000, pretty good. Someone just wrote no in the comments. What does that mean?
It's engagement.
Yep. Thank you, I appreciate you. I need to get my other commission done today.
I love the art that he does from Magic.
Yeah.
Or this one's just for you. He did it just for you.
Is it a moth with big old titties?
No,
No,
it's a troll
Little
chasing
mushrooms.
myconids.
Yep. Well, specifically, they're fungus fleshies.
I like that they added that.
Same thing.
Yep.
Like the leshies can be, like, I think cactuses, fruits, mushrooms, or that was one other. Can't remember.
Tubers.
Is that what it is? The last one, tubers. Oh, and gourds.
Yeah, there's a root one.
Yeah, roots. That's what it was.
There's also a pine tree one, which allows you to grow huge.
Oh, that's interesting. One of my friends right now is playing a druid, but he's just trying to be like a root druid. So he just like summons trees and uses what the hell is it called? Timber. The spell timber all the time.
Well, has he moved from Protect Your Tree to Timber now?
Yep. Those are his two go-to spells. Moth Mommy? Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's more for me, the druid. By the way, Patreon members, if there are any Patreon members in the chat, the Bugbear sticker stuff went out yesterday, so you should get that hopefully next week. If you are or would like stickers of the I have the Kobold Marching Band sticker and Psychopomp sticker. If people would like those, let me know, and I will mail them to you. Elvin Hair, by the way, since you did spend $20 today already, if you'd like a copy of those and you live in the U.S., let me know, and I will mail you those. But if anyone else would like to purchase those stickers, you just need $5. I need $5 so I can pay for postage, and I will mail you some stickers.
Lumber Druid.
What's that?
What?
Lumber Druid.
Lumber Druid.
Referring to
Oh, gotcha.
friend.
Okay. I think I'm done with this big boy. Could make him a little more poof, but I think we're good. I'm gonna leave that. Okay. Let's roll some dice. Roll some dice. Yeah, Lumber Druid. 6. Pathfinder 2e Poppet Barbarian that looks like an imp and carries a great axe. I'm down. This is a character I want to draw. This is a good one. Yeah, just message me in Discord, and I will. I'll need your address, and I can just send it to you in the mail. I think I know who you are on Discord. Just want to make sure. Can I message you? Yeah, Wisconsin works. Can I send you a message? No. Yeah, YouTube doesn't have like a private message function, does it?
No.
I swear it did at one point in time, but
Yeah, I thought it did too.
You can email.
that doesn't help. That's the problem I've been having with like the YouTube membership. Is that like there's no way for me to directly track YouTube members and Patreon members to Discord, because Discord has like a really nice integration for it.
Yeah.
But I don't have one for YouTube, and so there's no way for me to be like, oh yeah, you're this, and I know you're this person on Discord, so I just have to trust and pray, trust and pray that it's the right people. Yeah, just send me a direct message on YouTube, and we'll figure that out. Pop it.
Twist it.
Yeah, that's what
Pull
I was
it.
thinking. Doink it. We're gonna make this one kind of gurish. As all puppets should be.
I mean, that whole show is basically nothing but puppets.
Yona Vasquez is a dark, troubled individual. Tell you what, I have a system, Elvin here. Message me in Discord and then write like a number between 1 and 100. And then after you write it in Discord, write it in chat. And that way I'll know it's you. But it has to be in that order, otherwise other people will jump all over it. I just start getting inundated with Discord messages of random numbers.
I almost said something very mean.
Good for you for subbing yourself.
What?
Uh,
What
Hey,
is it like in Cheeseland? Oh, got it. Wisconsin?
Well, no, I'm not from Wisconsin.
Cheddar. I don't understand why would you say something mean? I missed it.
everybody probably missed it. You said my Discord basically just becomes inundated with stuff, and I almost said to you, you'd have to be a popular YouTuber for that to happen.
Okay. I understand now.
Wild savage.
I get a lot, not a lot. I mean, more than none. I get more than none, like friend requests from random people all the time, and I never know if it's just like a scam or people actually trying to talk to me.
Yeah.
All right, sounds
My
good.
rule for social media is if I don't know you, I'm not going to accept.
That why you never accept my friend request?
Probably. Did I? I don't actually know. I assume that I did. Eventually.
We are friends.
Okay.
It's always fun. Like for a long time, some of my friends that I've known forever, we were just in so many different chat rooms that I was like, I was trying to send you a message, and I realized we're not friends. And it's like, what? It's like, yeah. How does that never happen? Or like on Steam. It's like, yeah, I guess I just don't friend people on Steam.
Social media shit is like work for me, so I'm never going to open myself up to more of it. Unless I absolutely feel like I have to.
Yeah, that's probably a good call.
Certainly saved me when Facebook was in full swing. There were a couple of things that I missed out on, stuff actual friends and family were doing because I just kind of wasn't present. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I've dodged enough bullets that it was worth it.
I was trying to give him like a... Maybe just go real simple with the pentagram. Upside down pentagram just for funsies. If this isn't some high schooler's stuffed animal, I don't know what is.
I mean, you're high school.
This is El Diablo, es Mendubla.
No, yep, my high school too. It's maybe a 90s high school thing.
It was a surefire way to get somebody mad at you.
Yep.
To have a pentagram drawn on literally everything you owned.
Mr. Watkins, Rook is drawing demon people.
Mm-hmm.
I legit drew something that it was in charcoal, right? I was basically just playing around in charcoal, and it ended up looking like a blacklight sort of draw, like a velvet blacklight. Yeah, that you would buy from Hot Topic. It was kind of weird because it was like a cloaked figure, holding a like a floating ball of light over both palms, and like it was so high school, right? But like, one of the people in my art classes really liked it, and it freaked the shit out of everybody else who saw it that day. And anyway, the friend who really liked it ended up taking it home, and her mother thought that it was so satanic that she burned it.
Funny.
Davis.
I've never been so afraid of something that I needed to burn it. I'll just put it that way.
Me neither.
I mean,
Am I the only one that thinks that like empowers shit when you burn it? Now it's everywhere and in your lungs.
but I also whistle in the woods and look up trees. So.
Oh, I do that just for bears.
That's the only thing you had to worry about being up in a tree is a black bear.
I don't know. Raccoons.
Yeah, but if a raccoon's in a tree, that means it's like running away.
Yeah, it's not gonna bother you if it's in the tree. The raccoon's on the ground you gotta worry about.
Yeah.
That's probably fair.
Because I was thinking the other night, it's like, alright, what are the things that I am afraid of in the woods? I'm not afraid of bears, because I could chase off a bear, because we only have black bears. My conclusion was a very skittish deer and coyotes.
The thing I'm most afraid of in my woods is a moose.
Understandable.
I mean,
Yeah.
Druid, I'm just gonna put this out there. Badgers? Cougars.
Unless they're not in Utah.
They are.
Moose are pretty
I
scary.
should be more afraid of cougars than I am.
Yeah.
You are correct. I absolutely should be.
I hear that, but I also hear like that they only unless they're absolutely starved or rabid, they never attack humans. So it's
Well,
like with tigers. The only reason a tiger will go after a human is because it's like young and stupid, or sick and dying.
Yeah, that's the thing with like the whistling is usually your best bet.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you're making noise, you're not going to spook something. And that's the big problem. And like, except with bears, specifically bears, like, because the bears can't really control their cubs, so you can stumble upon bear cubs and you're just kind of effed. It's like, well,
Yep. Run away.
Just run. Just wherever you were, go that way.
Because humans can outrun bears.
Yeah.
That is, even if you're out of shape, you can still outrun a black bear.
If you get a good enough head start.
Yep.
Bring the bear spray.
Yep.
I watched a video of a guy using bear spray on a bear. Because the bear, you got upwind of the bear, and the bear was still like kind of slowly coming at him, and he just goes psh, in the air, and you see the mist just kind of like float towards the bear, and then the bear's just like, oh god, it just runs off. It's like, yes, success.
I thought
you
were
gonna
going
get
to
it.
talk about the video of the girl screaming at the bear, telling it to stop eating her kayak. Stop, bear! Stop!
Squid it. I have seen that. That one's really funny.
I have not seen that one. I think I need to.
She's just she's just yelling, and this bear is just like, I'm gonna fucking eat this thing. She's like, you can't stop me.
Mark did in one of his the only videos I ever see of Markiplier is his trying not to laugh videos.
Those are really good.
They are very
And
good.
he reacts to one of them, and it's just like he describes her as like, I've never seen someone try to become a Disney princess so hard in that moment. Just trying to talk to the bear.
Yeah. I'll watch Jack play things like Bloodborne, and I liked watching him play Resident Evil.
Yeah, I really liked Jack's Septiceyes playthrough of what's the mail game?
Mail game?
Where you deliver mail.
Oh, I didn't watch that one.
In the Chiral network.
Yeah. The Kojima game.
Yeah.
Death Stranded, I think.
Death Stranding, yep.
So, I like that content of his, but I also really like his laugh series where he just watches stupid memes. Then, like, kids getting hurt, he just loses his shit, and I think it's funny.
Yeah. Markiplier, I like anything he does with Bob and Wade.
Yeah, they're a good team. Could find some bears in mainland Europe as well, but still nothing like in the UK, really. Yeah. Like, it's not something you really have to worry about there.
Yeah.
I mean, Europe also has moose.
UK has barely let beavers back in.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with rattlesnakes as much as I used to when I was a kid, which is nice.
Yeah.
Well, one of those is because you live in a population center.
Mm-hmm. I almost ran over a rabbit yesterday. That's how much of a population center I live in. And a coyote. In the last month, I have seen like 4 rabbits and a coyote. It's just like, I live next to a freeway. This is bullshit. What is happening?
I mean, there's coyotes in New York City.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, maybe not New York City, but definitely like Chicago.
There are definitely, like, where I live, there's a lot of rabbits. It's always surprising.
Do you live near a park?
I mean, Washington is kind of just a giant park.
Yeah. Well, Western Washington is basically.
Well, I live in a rainforest full of buildings.
I know, like in some places in Europe, there's like
It's okay.
like a European ground squirrel, which is basically like a gopher. Only places you can find a lot of them are like at airport runways.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because they keep the grass really low, and which is what they like, because they can see everything.
I remember watching a video about that the other day. I thought that was pretty funny. There's usually rabbits around my apartment. Regularly see a coyote too. Yeah. I wish there were more snakes in Britain. I'm a reptile enthusiast. Can always move.
Are there any snakes in the British Isles?
I don't think so. All the Saints drove them out.
I was gonna say none in Ireland.
But But yeah, I think like paleontology, Lord.
Paleontology?
Yeah, like they've never found any remnants of snakes in the British Isles.
I think the man just
Because
went
I do
by.
know there's another saint who supposedly drove out snakes from England by turning them into stone and throwing them into the ocean.
Nice. Those snakes were talked about pagans, though.
Debatable. So look,
You know what I don't
the
know?
Catholic Church wanted to.
U.S. history. You know what I don't know more about? European history. So.
You don't know history in general.
And that's kind of where I was going with that comment. Yeah. Don't know, don't care. More of a philosopher than a
Historian?
historian. Yeah.
So fake intellectualist.
Yep.
Intellectualism. I'm kidding.
Just like most artists.
I mean, you're not wrong.
I know.
I mean, that was mainly just a dig at the people I had philosophy class with.
Sure.
Who that was their only philosophy class they ever had. Yeah, I was like, I read this guy. His name was like Friedrich Nietzsche. He's amazing. I was like, he said things don't matter. I was like, oh.
Surface
Oh,
level
child.
philosophy is great. Like,
Oh.
I mean, just like seeing people's brains kind of explode from base concepts is wonderful, and I love it. And then when you try to like really dig into something and people's like shut off, it's funny. It's really funny.
Because it's like, because like at the surface level it's super interesting, but then when you start digging into it, it's just like,
you know, he was a Nazi knight, right? What? It's like, yeah, it gets weird. It gets weird real fast.
yep. I think the one who got me so like turned my brain to mush was Kierkegaard, which
Yeah, I never looked into him. I had a few people
oh,
try to
he's
talk about
so
it.
depressing.
Yeah, and I was just like, I'm good.
It's like, oh, this poor Danish man has just lived a hard life and decided to write about it.
Elliot, I kind of understand your statement, and I don't know anything about it. I went over my head. Maybe Corvus will get it. Adders, only venomous snakes in Britain, grass snakes and smooth snakes. Gotcha. Given the amount of IBS that college students go through, maybe they should read Immanuel Kant. At least they'd be regular. I don't know who that is. I get IBS as a joke and a medical condition. So there's something poop related in there, but I don't get it. Sorry.
I just remember hating Kant.
I have been called Machiavellian before. I was not particularly happy about that, though he was considered one of the greats. Yeah, that's not something you want to be called. I can...
Well, here's the thing, though. Going back to our surface level understanding of philosophers, like Machiavelli, people only ever look at him at the surface level because, like, what everyone thinks of him as is the prince. Where he's like, yeah, the prince should just do all these god-awful things. That was, like, him trying to not get executed by his local prince.
Yeah, I thought it was
yeah,
basically like, authoritarianism is okay as long as you're the authoritarian.
Yeah. But, like, even in the prince, he says the most virtuous type of government is the, like, republic. And so he very much is against monarchy. And he's just like...
He's against monarchy, but he's also... And this is... I only know surface level of stuff, but I thought the idea was people are too dumb to not have somebody in charge, but it should be a smaller group of people. Is that wrong?
That feels very surface level. I just remember him, like... basically kind of, like, The prince is basically him memeing the Medici family
Okay.
while also trying to get a job from them.
Hmm.
Because they kicked him out of Florence where he lived. And then when he eventually was allowed to move back, he tried to get a job with them because he was very smart and he was a financial person before he became a philosopher.
Okay.
And he's just like, I could help you.
The Medici.
Kant was one of those dudes that was very strict schedules. People knew how fast the watch was running by his nightly walks. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Opposed to Jeremy Bentham, which I like him. Bentham's ideas do not work functionally, but it's one of those few are well-meaning. Okay. Better on paper, not good in practice. He's the philosopher of empiricism. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I remember, he was largely written in as he's a guidelines of how to be a dictator, not a suggestion on how to live your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the only things I ever think about, especially when you say like someone's Machiavellian, it's just like my thought has always been
Cartoonishly evil.
yeah, kind of like the only way people can survive is if I control them, right? Like I'm the one that can do the best job, so I need to be in charge because you guys aren't smart enough to take care of yourselves. That's what I think of when I think of Machiavellian. And so it's like, yeah, great.
Yeah.
Evil.
Yeah, that's very much like the bad way to take his stuff.
Okay.
Another way of taking it is like the prince is also a guide for like normal people. Like, oh, here's all the tricks that the princes do to rule us. Now we know their tricks, we can fight them.
I think a lot of people also talk about it in terms of like corporate America because that's how they look at like all of the CEOs are the really smart, great people, and everyone should try to be like them. And it's like, no, don't do
not
that.
Believe that.
Yeah. They say I allow the end to justify the means, and I don't know exactly what they meant. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That's very much like how people like.
I'm oppressing you because it's for your own good. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to do with this. I think we're done. It's 2:15, 2:19.
Yep.
I think we did a really good job today.
I'm good.
Hope everybody enjoyed their shenanigans.
I like the bit of purple you add, Jared.
Yeah, that was a good touch.
I felt it needed a little bit something, so I'm just throwing in a little bit.
I'm going to add a little bit of cloth texture here.
It is generally a good rule that you never really want large expanses of just plain black. And it's not really black, it's super dark saturated purple. It just looks super black against the yellow brown of the paper, but still needed a little bit of color. It very much looks more spirit than
ooze,
slime, or no face, but that's fine.
I think it looks good. I'm going to try to work on my commission, probably in the Discord. So if people want to come hang out with it, you're very welcome to. I might even try to play a little Helldivers later if I finish that up. And then we'll go from there. I already ate lunch, so I might just jump over to that and start working on that. I'm on the coloring phase, and I'm struggling a little bit. But it is what it is, so... I'm going to go feed the cats, do that, and probably be back in the Discord. He really does not believe that the journey is not the destination. I don't like Machiavelli. I prefer Francis Bacon. I know the names, don't know what they mean. Be a benevolent ruler than others, man. Francis Bacon was done for embezzlement, and he died from eating a chicken stuffed with snow. So, you know, didn't end well, but liked what he believed in. That's all I got. That's all I got today, everybody. My brain is fried. We went philosophy, which did okay. We didn't talk about food at all today, but maybe we'll get back on that. I'm going to try to run this stuff out to the mailbox before the mailman shows up, which I might have missed already. Which, if that's the case, I'll put it in the mail tomorrow. If you do want to grab some stickers, let me know. Just send me a message in Discord, and we'll get that figured out. Thanks again. Let's see if there's anybody around. Maybe we can raid somebody today. Nope. Okay. Go check out the YouTube shorts. Leave some comments. Have some fun. Give those cats some loves. Oh, we'll do that. They're both.
Check out the Discord.
Both very dumb cats, but it's okay. Yeah. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Keep your dice on the table. We'll catch everybody later. Bye.
Bye.